It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. Devindra Hardawar and Gadget Senior Editor is here. Shira Lazar is here from whatstrending.com and Peace Inside Live. And former PC Magazine editor, my old buddy Lance Ulanoff. Lots to talk about. Twitter's monetization strategies. This could change everything. Why the pandemic baby boom turned out to be a baby bust. Why you shouldn't allow interns to choose your passwords. And Amazon's new rotating follow you camera. Really? You want this in your house? It's all coming up next on Twit.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 812, recorded Sunday, February 28th, 2021. 3 Boof Bonsers. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Udacity. Build your tech skills through industry-leading programs created and recognized by top companies worldwide with a nano degree from Udacity in as little as 12 weeks. Visit udacity.com/twit and use the coupon code TWIT at checkout to get 50% off through May 30th, 2021. And by Extra Hop. When cyber criminals get past your business's defenses, you need a plan for detection and response. Learn more about how Extra Hop stops breaches 84% faster and explore the great interactive demo at extrahop.com/twit. And by Gabby Insurance. You're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check and there's no obligation. Go to gabby.com/twit. And by Mint Mobile. Switching to Mint Mobile's premium wireless service is the easiest way to save this year. Maximize your savings with plans starting at just $15 a month. And get the plan shipped to your door free at mintmobile.com/twit. It's time for Twit This Week in Tech, the show where we cover the week's tech news. Oh, I'm excited about this show because it's 3 people I adore, starting with a guy I haven't seen since South by Southwest. It's been a while. Lance Ulanoff, good to see you.
Good to be here virtually.
Longtime editor of PC Magazine. What are you doing these days?
I'm out on my own, floating in space.
Floating in space.
Eventually will tether myself somewhere, but writing a lot on Medium at the moment.
Nice. You were PC Mag, you were Mashable, you did digital for a while, now on his own.
LifeWire, all over the place, yeah. TV.
Kind of legendary. You took over for me on the Live with Regis and, well, it wasn't Regis, but Kelly and whoever's.
Kelly and Ryan, that's right.
Ryan, yeah. That's fun, isn't it? In fact, the last time we talked, I think you mentioned that Marianne had retired, our producer.
She had. I love that woman so much. Yeah. Such a sweetheart, and she earned it. I mean, definitely deserved to step away. But, so she's gone. I have a new producer. Actually, I work with a few different ones, but I have one main guy. And honestly, that crew there is just fantastic. I love working with those people.
Kelly is a really sweet person.
She is. She's very real.
Yeah, she's very genuine. Real.
Yeah.
And I never met Ryan, but I'm sure he's fun too.
He's fun. He's a real spitfire.
Yeah. Regis was something. I kind of miss Regis. He was
never got to work with him.
Yeah. Also with us, Shira Lazar, my yoga mate from PeaceInside.live.
Yes, thanks for having me.
We hung out.
See you outside your yoga pants.
Yeah. We hung out with a really fun couples yoga thing on Valentine's Eve. Lisa and I, you and your boyfriend, and a number of other couples. The instructor was from Thailand. They were great. It was so much fun. Are you going to do more of those at Peace Inside Live?
Yeah, we do virtual retreats. We do workshops and master classes around mindfulness, meditation, and movement. And we're bringing peace inside the workplace. So we're doing a lot of work with corporations to build wellness programs as well for their teams.
Wow. And no, I don't have yoga pants. They were just shorts. The chat room's already going, what? Did you say yoga pants? I was just wearing shorts and a T-shirt. Anyway, great to see you, Shira. Peace Inside Live, peaceinside.live, if you want to know more. She's very busy. And also, it's great to see Devendra Hardwar, editor-in-chief. I'm sorry, senior editor at Engadget.
Yeah, senior editor, not editor-in-chief. No.
Who is he I see over there now?
It is Dana Wollman, who is awesome. I've worked with her for a very long time.
You don't want to be you don't want to be the editor-in-chief, though. That's
too much work.
It's too much
There's
work.
just so much going on.
Much more fun.
I want to play with my gadgets.
Yeah, exactly. Much more fun. What are you reviewing right now? What are you looking at?
I got a bunch of things. I just put up a review of the MSI GS66 gaming laptop. That's one of the first 1440p gaming laptops, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
We've been stuck with either 1080 or 4K, so cool options now.
There seem to be suddenly a lot of gaming laptops. Lenovo's Legion. I see a lot of companies that aren't normally known for. You don't think of Lenovo and gaming, but a lot of gaming laptops coming out now all of a sudden.
They've been doing that for a while, but I don't think anybody's paying attention. Is the thing.
Maybe
Everyone's
that's it.
trying. It's the hot market. Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be a hotter market. Everybody's stuck at home. What are you going to do? Meanwhile, I'm playing Animal Crossing. Anybody wants to visit my island, I'll give you my dream code. So depressing. so sad. Speaking of gaming, Stadia. More coming out about Google's streaming gaming service. A couple of weeks ago, they closed down their own independent game laboratory, laying off hundreds, including Jade Raymond, who is a legendary game designer. She was running the Toronto Ubisoft studio. She went over to Google 1 year later. She's gone. This is the article at Bloomberg by Jason Schreier. Google's Stadia problem, a video game unit that's not googly enough. He talks about, just Google doesn't do content really, and didn't really understand the idea of creating gaming content. Seriously, if you buy an independent gaming studio and you expect a game in a year, you're smoking something.
Oh my gosh, no.
I think they're also really bad at consumer products in general. I feel like I've brought this up so many times on the show, but Google does not have enough faith in its products to keep them around. Even something like Google Reader, which was kind of niche, but you can look at a whole bunch of things. Everything that happened at Nest, which kind of fell apart, but I guess is kind of hung together now.
Yeah, but
they're not great with consumer
hung
products.
Together is not like what you call a prosperous company. Yeah, we're hanging together. It's okay. We're not. It's a little shaky.
I think they do okay with some consumer hardware, but
the Pixel phones are okay, right?
Yeah, they're okay. I think that there is a commitment issue. There's a commitment issue that sometimes, but I think they're still committed to sort of Pixel phones. But I think the point you made about the gaming software, just a game, this is, years. Literally we've heard of games being developed for over a decade. So, I don't know what their expectations were there, but the competition's too strong in the gaming space. And if they weren't fully committed, and clearly they weren't, and Google, by the way, is really good at pulling the plug on things. How many things do they shutter a year?
It's sad because I think that they were the independent division under Stadia was trying to develop stuff, not as every other game company is doing, developing stuff for consoles and PCs and every platform, but specifically for a cloud platform where you could use AI, you could say, I want several servers. You had a lot more opportunities to do different kinds of games. Unfortunately, this Bloomberg story only describes one. One prototype was described as a cross between a Google Assistant and a Tamagotchi pet.
I love Tamagotchi.
Yeah, that's
what we need.
I guess that could be good.
You probably had a Tamagotchi when you were a kid, didn't you? Yeah,
for a moment.
Yeah.
But what I think it's interesting is that they don't take advantage of their ecosystem. So if you're going to launch a gaming system, why not take advantage of like YouTube games and all your social
Well, that was the plan, wasn't it?
You're not giving it enough time to even go there. It just doesn't make sense.
There is a feature that allows you to pick up a game where your superstar YouTuber left off, right, Devendra? So he could say, okay, I've got you up to this point. Take it away. That's cool.
They promised a lot. It's cool. Like, in theory, Stadia was a really cool concept, and we had seen cloud gaming before, and they had so many ideas like, we have solved all the issues, with cloud gaming, the latency, don't have to worry about it, right? Because your controller connects over Wi-Fi, which goes directly to the server. It seemed like they had a good pitch, but it's not just the game studios. I think Google just fundamentally didn't know what to do with Stadia, right? It launched in a weird beta. It wasn't quite ready. That feature, the pickup from somebody else's stream feature, isn't here. So I don't know why Stadia exists. And it's a fundamental problem of, right, you have to buy these games. You have to buy these games.
Yeah, and you don't really own them because if Stadia goes under, and who knows,
you don't own them.
Then Assassin's Creed is gone.
Yeah. And
even though you spend
Amazon
$60, just like you would if you bought a disc.
I mean,
Amazon's Luna's thing is a subscription, and that's the way I think everybody expects. Yeah.
Right.
Right. I mean, I just wonder if Google took a look at what Microsoft's doing and just realized that they couldn't compete. Yeah. They could compete not just with xCloud, but the number of how many different game developers has Microsoft bought up. I mean, it's pulled so much in-house. It has so much raw power on the development side and on the cloud side, and I think that maybe Google was making a really smart business decision. Although they haven't shuttered Stadia, but I think we should maybe take bets on whether or not Stadia is around a year or two from now.
It feels like they plucked defeat from the jaws of victory, because when Cyberpunk 2077 came out, it was bugged on consoles unless you had the latest generation. People couldn't play it on the PC, but it actually played fine on Stadia streaming. It was the one place where you could kind of experience that game.
Well, and the PC side played pretty well too.
Was it okay? So it was really just the older generation consoles that were given refunds.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wow,
it was so bad.
It's still not on the PlayStation Store. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
So it was an opportunity. I mean, people like me, I was playing it on Stadia. It was an opportunity to get to an audience, and then and they could have won Shira over with Tamagotchis.
Come on.
You had me at
They
Tamagotchi.
deserve a shot. They're so cute.
I mean, I have no grounds. I just admitted I play Animal Crossing. I have no grounds at all to mock anything. I had a Tamagotchi because my kids had one. I had one.
We all did.
Oh my God, he's got one.
Oh my God. Are you for real?
So, are you for real, Lance Ulinoff? What, did you have that on your shelf? You just pulled it right off?
I did. It's been sitting because we had a couple.
Hilarious.
My kids had them.
The kids had them.
My kids had them.
The batteries are long dead, right?
I mean, I have not fed this guy in a while.
He's still alive.
Him, but
he's so sad looking.
Yeah, I know. He's inside. It was bald.
What do you put new batteries in every couple of years just to?
I have not. I
make
took
him
this
suffer?
out. I don't know. Probably look. When you're trapped at home, you start going through drawers and pulling stuff out, and you start putting batteries in things. And it's been sitting. So basically, it's been sitting there on my shelf ever since.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's impressive.
For those, and I think it's probably the vast majority of our listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, Shira. What is a Tamagotchi?
It's like a little virtual animal that you have to take care of. So for people who are like debating whether they'll be good parents, get a Tamagotchi. And already I knew when I was like 10 that I would be a late bloomer as a parent.
It's already the worst of both worlds. You don't get the cuddling or the affection or the love of an animal, but you do have to feed them on a regular basis.
Shake them
to play with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's still around. It's now an iPad. They poop. Do Tamagotchis poop?
Oh yeah, I think they do.
Yeah,
I kind of forget honestly. Like my memory is not very good around the Tamagotchi. I just remembered it was like in a cute little egg type of accessory, and you could put it on your keychain.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
From Bondi.
Yeah, this would go on your belt.
Yeah.
Basically,
so you never.
throw it onto your belt.
Actually, that's a Pokemon you got in there.
I know. I can't get him out of here. Yeah. I don't know what to do.
I got a Pokemon stuck in my Tamagotchi.
Me how to get this guy, get him out of his ball.
Tweet Lance Ulinoff on the Twitters. How do you get the Pokemon out of the Tamagotchi? Wow. I didn't expect the show would start this way, to be honest with you.
Expect the unexpected.
When you're listening to Twit, you never know what's going to happen. It's because partly early in the year like this, there's not a lot of news, really. Should we talk about Twitter? I think you guys are all. I'll tell you what, you all in on the Twitter. Prepare your Twitter thoughts. There's some stuff going on, including Jack says we've found a way we're going to subscribe. We're going to have subscribers. We found a way to make people pay for Twitter, to which Lance Ulinoff says, never! We'll get to that in just a second. It's going to be a fun time. Great panel. Lance Ulanoff, Shira Lazar, Devendra Hardawar. Our show today brought to you by something I know you guys know all about. Udacity is an amazing story. Sebastian Thrun was actually at Google, and he realized, this back in the early part of the decade, 2011, I think, 2012. He realized that the companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon needed technical workers, people with real skills, but these skills weren't being taught in schools. He said, there's got to be a way to prepare the modern workforce, and he created Udacity. It's like Audacity without the A. Udacity is the world's fastest, most efficient way to master the skills tech companies want. I think actually it was right at the beginning they did the first nano degree, and it was with Google. The Nano Degree program is a unique online educational offering designed to bridge the gap between learning and your career goals. You're going to get a suite of skills that are guaranteed employable because they're created by the companies who need people to do these things. Udacity partners with industry leaders and experts who understand the in-demand skills that are, the job market, applicable to the job market they really need. Once you enroll as a student in a specific course, you'll be prompted to view the online course, see the videos, and they're well-produced, very clear, taught by real experts who are excellent teachers. But, and I think this is super important, you don't just sit and watch. You have to complete a series of projects. Don't be scared off. This is honestly the way to learn this stuff. I've done all kinds of online courses, and the ones where I just sit and watch, I feel like, oh, I know how to do that. And then when I really have to sit down and do it, I can't. I love the ones like the Udacity courses where you actually have to learn by doing. And what's great about Udacity is with your project, you're going to be reviewed by qualified professionals. If you need help, and you will because you're learning, you get real human help, personalized code reviews if it's a programming course, and access to qualified mentors. And it's really important 24/7 because people are taking these courses. Many of them have day jobs. It's all over the world, 160 countries, 13 million registered users. And so it's got to work with your schedule, and it does. It does. They've completed 1.3 million plus projects. 150,000 nanodegrees, just to give you some idea of the scale of this. It's the most successful online learning you can get. It's incredible. They even have free courses that'll help you build your portfolio on GitHub. Very important if you're a programmer, or LinkedIn. They do have non-programming classes in marketing, product management, tech-adjacent roles. They, of course, have classes in the most in-demand skills like AI and cloud computing. You want to develop self-driving vehicles? They've got autonomous systems classes. They've got data science classes. These are industry-leading programs built and recognized by top companies worldwide. IBM works with them. Microsoft, Google, of course, AWS. All over the world, people are getting great jobs. They're learning great skills. You know what? I'm not looking for work. I still took the courses because it's so much fun. I've taken their Python. In fact, I'm looking at their second level, their intermediate Python course now. The projects, I hate to say you have to do a project because I know sometimes that scares people, but seriously, it's fun, and it's the only way to learn it, to be honest with you. And there's some great Udacity free courses, too, if you just want to get some sense of what they do. Flexible payment options. You can learn at your own pace and schedule. I always like to use some examples like this guy, Francisco Gutierrez, couldn't afford a 4-year degree. He was interested in technology, and he wanted a better life for his family. He took programming classes at the community college, but they never really translated into getting a job. He participated in a program Udacity has, the Grow with Google Udacity Challenge. Got a full scholarship for the Mobile Web Specialist Nano degree. Mobile Web Specialist. It took him step by step. Got an internship at Microsoft. He is now a full-time software engineer at Microsoft. They offered him a full-time job, all because of Udacity. It's a great story. There are lots of them on the page. If you go to Udacity, udacity.com/twit today. Technology is disrupting enterprises across every industry. Check out Udacity for Enterprise and upskill your workforce, too. In fact, John, at the last staff meeting, we told everybody, if you want to take a class at Udacity, it's on us. Not just because you'll be a better employee, but we want to support you as a human. And Udacity has those too, Udacity for Enterprise. Get the education that broadens your horizons. Go to udacity.com/twit. 50% off, half off, but you have to use the coupon code TWIT. So there's a little incentive for you. Got to do it soon. Ends May 30th. Coupon code TWIT. The discount will be applied at checkout. Udacity.com/twit. Thank you, Udacity. What is Super Follows? This is the newest thing on Twitter. Lance, I take it you're not a fan.
Yeah, look, I get it that Twitter has to grow. It has to. They have plans to get more people using the service, and they want to make more money. They want to increase revenues by a lot, and they also want to compete in this new sort of creator game. If you notice on all the platforms, including TikTok, they now are sort of identifying so-called creators, which gives them an opportunity to make money on the platform. So it's very exciting. Twitter. You really don't have that opportunity. I mean, it's really not that kind of space. And, I've been on it, 2007, so however many years that is. And, it's still my favorite social media. Now, Super Follows would give me the idea to create sort of a supra version of my Twitter content.
So who pays? Do you pay or do your followers pay?
No, followers pay. So this, again,
they subscribe to you.
Subscribers, and so when we talk about something like Substack, with people doing newsletters and now getting people to pay a yearly subscription fee for this special information. So imagine on Twitter, you've got specialized tweets, or you've got private concerts, or you've got special photos, or maybe I charge you for doodles that I will.
Are they trying to be Are they being Patreon? Is that the idea?
Yeah, a little bit. It's all in that sort of same mix. And I guess I feel look, and I'm not that guy. I don't have enough followers to really monetize what I'm doing there. I mean, you need a scale. There's a bigger conversation to have here. We have a ton of people flooding to Substack, all these journalists saying, I'm starting my own newsletter.
Well,
you're going to pay for it.
Twitter bought Review, another newsletter platform like Substack.
It's interesting is I've been on Review for years.
Oh, really?
I have a newsletter on Review. Yeah. I mean, it's small, it's a bit, but I've been doing it. It's a place where I just kind of talk. My newsletter is sort of free form. But yeah, all of this is moving in the direction of finding a way to have a section of Twitter be sort of this special premium area where you can pay to get more. To get, if you like Steve Martin's tweets, Steve Martin to go on Twitter, he's funny, right? But he's going to be even funnier in the
if you pay him
space.
Money.
Right. I guess look.
You
I'm
say that is Steve Martin doing it, or is that just an example?
No.
Do we know anybody who is doing it
yet?
Yeah.
It's too soon. No. I think
it's not available
I've not
yet.
seen anything.
Okay.
I'm checking to see if there's something, in my Twitter that would say, hey, you have this opportunity. Because, by the way, they integrated Review fast. Like I already had a pop-up that said, if you do a Twitter thread, they know that you like to write. So they're like, we have a newsletter product now. How about you do that? So Twitter's getting more proactive about this stuff. I just think that for most people, Super Follows it's not going to be a thing because most people don't have enough followers to really monetize in a way that makes sense unless you charge a whole lot for premium tweet content or Twitter content, and then it better be great. Yeah. So I made a so-called promise yesterday, I believe, where I said I will never charge you for my tweets. And then if you read all the way to the end, I said, probably.
Just had to. This was your article on Medium. Okay, I'll never charge you unless I do. And then maybe I will.
Fine print. Read the fine print.
So you're a creator, Shira. I mean, is this...
Yeah.
I think... I assume that you understand better than most how hard it is to take your product and make money, make a living doing.
Yeah. It's something I'm thinking about a lot. And, I watched the ABC News documentary about OnlyFans. And I think it is fascinating, these platforms that are allowing you just the freedom to do this. The thing is, what's that extra thing that you're going to do and how do you scale it? And is the platform the right platform to do that for discovery and everything, right? And so I do think like Twitter is actually one of my favorite platforms still, because I feel like they're not hiding your tweets. There's no algorithm. Like it's easy to like get in front of people,
right,
which other platforms have lost, right?
That's really true. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I wish.
Facebook, you have no idea who's going to see what you post.
And like, I feel like it's the one place I feel like I still have engagement, and I know that people will see it. And if you add the right hashtags, it gets into that like grouped in there for discovery. So it's like, but then what would that thing be? That would be the extra thing, like Lance said, that would get people to pay for that. Like it would need to be above and beyond what you do. And then that's also more work. And then, you're putting in the effort, hoping for more back. And so it's always like the thing that you need to think about. And I think every platform, you're going to see that. Clubhouse, you're going to see a monetization capability. Obviously, we have it on Twitter. We have it on YouTube. Like, you have tips, or you could also do subscription. It's like, how much more can you do and create? How many hours do you have in the day? You just need to be smart about it and strategize. And it really depends on your brand.
There was some criticism of a Squarespace Super Bowl ad where they took Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 and they made it 5 to 9. And it was all about your side hustle.
Yeah.
And the criticism was, I'm exhausted, 9 to 5, and now I got to do shrubbery pruning.
No, working 9 to 9. Let's be clear. It's 9 to 9.
9 to 9.
Or even
Thank you.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
Right?
And anybody who's done this, especially YouTube creators, it's exhausting.
It is. I think that we need to be able to scale what we do without it being every hour, right? Like, how is it?
Yes.
Like right now, for me, I need to be there to create. How can you put in 2 hours and get 6 hours from that?
Right.
That's the question. It's like, so, and that's where I see like building products. Like, if you build a product in e-commerce, but then you also have to upfront, like a startup, you need upfront to develop that product, to produce it, to put Facebook ads or Instagram ads against it. It's like $50,000.
I'm getting a nervous breakdown just listening to you.
Yeah, so I have so this is actually, I had a meeting with VaynerMedia. They have a talent management company.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
I love Gary. So I wasn't talking to Gary, I was talking to one of his people, and he goes,
yeah, Gary's got people now because he can't do 9 hours a day.
So he goes, you're into vulnerability and personal growth and all that. Why don't you start a Clubhouse? You do that Clubhouse, you go all in, you build a few thousand people listening to, or even just 1,000. You go to Substack, and then you're selling them on Substack. And it was just like, in my head, it all makes sense. But then it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. When does it end?
Lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So many different platforms.
I feel so bad for you
for
people.
our attention.
What do you think about OnlyFans?
It's hard.
So
Like where do you put your time and effort?
It's so
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything's a choice.
And everybody under 30, I'm sure, feels this pressure to, well, what's your Insta? What's your Twitter? What are you gonna? It's like, it feels like everybody's expected to be a creator, and everybody's expected to bust their ass, and I think everybody under 30 is, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like is feeling this intense pressure to produce. Mm-hmm. I think that's
thinking that they can, and they can produce and become famous.
Yeah, there's money in it.
I talk to young people, right? Yeah. There's because there are these icons.
I'll never play for the NBA, but I could become an Insta celebrity or something.
Yeah, well, but none of them realize the amount of work that's involved. You talk to somebody like Justina Zarek, and a decade plus working on YouTube, and how hard she's worked.
I don't understand why she doesn't look like a little old lady. I just don't get it. she should have bags under her eyes, and her hair should. She works insane hours, and everybody I know like her does. It's crazy. You have, and the pressure. I just worry that we're going to hit a wall, that all these people are just going to go, oh my God.
Well, it's already happening, but then there's always new crops and generations of talent who are young. I mean, it's the same thing for the acting industry or Hollywood. It's the reason why it's a young industry is because you still have that energy, and you still have that naivete to go into things that are, when you're a bit older, you see the writing on the wall, and then you start thinking about family and sustainability and your energy. It's just a bit of a different mentality.
Yeah. I think the danger here, by the way, is that a lot of this stuff just looks easy, right? Being an Insta celebrity, I'm just taking some photos, just chilling with my friends, just like taking photos of my food. But like, you watch people, especially like my younger family, who, they want to frame their Instagram photos perfectly. So we order something when we used to go to restaurants, and it would be 5 minutes before they could actually eat it because they would spend all the time perfectly framing everything and adding some lighting and whatnot. And as a slightly older millennial, I'm on these platforms, but I'm not driven for that. I'm driven for other reasons, but I am worried about this. I know it's so easy. It used to be stardom. People assumed, this requires a lot of work. I have to get to Hollywood. I have to do other things. You have to be driven in one way to do that.
I feel like
now it's just simple.
It's a symptom of a much. I mean, look, I'm sure the vast majority of people, young people, don't think they're going to be influencers. They're busy working their ass off at an Amazon warehouse. I mean, but I think it's a larger symptom of a real economic problem in this country for sure, and maybe even globally, where you have to have two jobs to survive. You have to have that side hustle just to survive. And I just feel like we're going to hit a wall. This is not a positive thing.
And it doesn't feel like
Go ahead, Shira.
I was just going to say that their big target right now is. I'm sorry. I was just going to say their big target right now is TikTok. I mean, if you want to talk about where they believe they can become famous and how much time they spend asking how do they become TikTok famous and how they go viral and how do they get a deal.
But it was TikTok this year. Last year it was Insta.
There's always going to be something else.
True.
God, it just breaks my heart.
What I was going to say is I was wondering if it was just America because I feel like here it's like how many followers you have. You could have any type of business and it's not even like a creator anymore. It's like, how many followers does your business have? And I feel like it is a North America phenomenon. Like other places, of course, this is a global network. But in other places, your worth isn't based around that necessarily. Like if you are in Italy and you're like, hey, I have like 10,000 Instagram followers, and be like,
who cares?
Yeah, or like in France, But there is something to be said about Canada and the US, our obsession with this type of notoriety.
Is it now? You're Canadian. Right? I know you don't live there anymore, but you grew up there in Montreal. Is it the same in Canada?
Yeah, I think that it goes back to because in Canada we were so close to the America where it was like the American dream, right?
Right.
And so the new dream is this like the social media DIY dream, and it also it goes back to like being your own boss. Getting into the crypto space, it's all connected, and then it's also connected to Silicon Valley. Like if you look at all of it, it's creating it on your own, right?
It's the hustle.
Your own boss.
It is
the hustle.
Yeah.
And I think and Gary says it's not just about the hustle. It's like really you gotta love it. And sometimes
I blame Gary a little bit, and I know Gary well, and I love Gary, but I blame him a little because this guy is a ball of energy, and for 10, maybe 15 years now, he's been preaching this. You got to do this, 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 you got to do this. And I think that's unrealistic for most people.
Well, now he's taking it a different way where he's saying like it's about if you enjoy it. So he goes, for me, this is who I am. I enjoy it. But then it goes
Nobody
back to
can be Gary Vaynerchuk.
It, like there's a bit of guilt. Like why can't I be like that? Right? What's wrong with me? Why don't I have the energy? And if I don't have the energy like that, does that mean I'm going to fail?
Yeah.
So
I want to take a quick step back here, by the way, because it does seem like we're going down the negative path on this, right? Like the overwork and the all-consuming nature of being a creative, in the world today. But I like the super follow feature as a way for people who genuinely create value on that social network to get some money, to get paid for it. I won't be doing it as a reporter just because of the way I work. And I think
you probably can't.
News. Yeah. I don't know. News organ, we don't know. These
if
are all
you left
things.
Engadget, you could.
Probably. Yeah, if I was on my own.
I think that's what happens.
May start rules.
Is brands, I mean, that's what I did kind of. And brands say, why am I working for the man? Now there's a way for me to monetize. Essentially, I mean, that's kind of what's happened with the internet. This disintermediation is made
the entire Substack push. Yeah.
Yes, it's kind of made it possible for people like Lance, people like Shira, someday people like you, Devendra. No, I'm not saying that at all. But for me to say we don't need the gatekeepers anymore. We can do it ourselves. So you're right. It is positive in that respect. for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like, hey, I look at people on Twitter. I look at the people creating dozen long tweet threads, where after certain points, like you are making this network better, you know, and people may
and
want
people
could pay you for
who's
this.
benefiting?
Yeah, who's benefiting?
Twitter.
And not everybody needs to do a newsletter. Yeah, I think like a simple way to pay people for things is good.
I tell you, every time I see somebody doing a long thread, I feel like shouting, "Get a room," or get a blog. You know, why are you trying to have this? Why are you trying to write a 1,000-word article on Twitter? It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm old, I guess. I don't know.
What about, like, I think a great idea would be if you have access, like an exclusive, or you're at if you're at the Apple announcement or whatever, and people want to be following you and your take on it, you could say, for this event or for this thing, I'm going to be behind a paywall. Right, so you need to follow.
What an idiot! I've been giving this stuff away for.
I know. Which would be great if there weren't so many people doing something like that. But yeah, I think that's exactly what we're hoping to see. And by the way, I feel like this is because I maybe I sound a little negative about all this, and I'm not at all. Of course, I'm very positive about everything digital, but this is sort of the second stage. The first stage of the transformation of content was everybody's ability. They're no longer gatekeepers. Everybody's ability to deliver content directly to an audience, no matter what. You could just do it. And that has been a fundamental shift in the way people have consumed content. And now the second stage is, well, great. How do we get paid for this? And that does make a lot of sense. And I understand that we're in that sort of evolutionary stage. It's just a question of, is Twitter the right place for this?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you guys, like, we at the /Filmcast, my movie podcast, like, we started a Patreon recently. It's done pretty good. We've had a PayPal account for a decade. You know, we've been asking people for donations, but having these platforms where people are already following you, can add more money, that's ended up being a beneficial thing. So yeah, I don't want to be too negative on this. It's not for me, super followers, but I'm sure for a lot of people it could be, and that's good. That is a good thing ultimately. Like, I think of the end of the great what's it, the Brad Pitt movie, the one where he is an assassin, and basically it ends with, "This is America, pay me." And I feel like that's it. That's the goal. And even though that's part of the like evil nature of capitalism and everything, if you're contributing, if you're actually generating content, like at a certain degree, you should be paid.
Final scene of Killing Me Softly.
Yeah. Killing Me Softly. There we go.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I gotta see that.
I don't know what you're showing. There it is.
Wow, that was
Killing
quick.
Them Softly.
Killing Them Softly. Yeah.
It is a weird movie, and I didn't quite like it at first, but I think over time that has resonated more and more.
I can't play it because I will get in trouble. Do you ever play clips on /film, or do you?
No.
Yeah,
no,
you can't,
not
right?
at all. I mean,
get taken back.
No. Well, like, within fair use, you can play a clip and comment on it. So I think that's fine. But doing it live is like, and doing it on YouTube, we never do it on YouTube because like those DMCA notices come in so quick. Yeah.
Too bad, because if it weren't for the DMCA, I could play this parody of Childish Gambino mashed up with Killing Them Softly called "This Is America, So Call Me Maybe." But I guess I won't.
That's two different things, but yeah.
It's a mashup. It's a mashup. It's America. So yeah, I mean, part of this is stimulated by the fact that Twitter, which has been a success in the minds of the tech industry and tech pundits and journalists, the rest of America doesn't even know what it is, but is desperately trying to figure out how to make money. And apparently ads is not it. They need a model, right? Is that kind of what this is?
Yeah, they need a better growth. I mean, it has to have a better growth trajectory. I mean, they're kind of flat. Their growth is flat. They're because it's like the Twitterati is a certain group of people.
It's not America at large.
No, it's not. It's not. Even though what happens on Twitter becomes national and international news.
Thanks to our former president, yes.
Right. And even before then, quite honestly, before he got on, and now he's gone, it still happens. But I think that it has given it sort of this outsized reputation, as if it is some representation of the broader America. And it's simply not. And Facebook is a better representation of people everywhere. I mean, you look at almost 3 billion people use it, and about monthly 311 million people, something like that with Twitter.
Yeah, it's a gross mismatch, and yet I think you're right. In fact, for a long time, it's stopped now, but for a long time, you'd watch shows like American Idol, and they'd have a little blue bird, and they'd say, Twitter was very much part of that. That seems to have kind of stopped. I don't see that as much as I used to, but Facebook's definitely still a part of the American psyche for sure. It's going to be interesting. I'm not rooting against Twitter. Mm-hmm. I have a very mixed feelings about Twitter. I think its value in our society has been highly overvalued by the fact that the media uses it, and anything that happens on Twitter is considered news. And for me, it looks like, well, that's just the outrage of the moment on Twitter constantly. Sure. And I think it's really fostered that kind of dialogue, gotcha journalism, outrages. I think the smallest thing gets blown up to the biggest thing on Twitter, and then suddenly it's a big story in our world. And I don't think that's...
Which is why Twitter added context to some of their trends, because without context, people are just like, someone died or somebody, like they had no idea what the words meant.
It's really true. When you see a person's name in trending, you know he's dead, right? It's my God, he died.
Denzel Washington GIF, right? Yeah. You see Denzel Washington do the, I'm so glad it wasn't that person was dead. Mm-hmm. But by the way, I should say that I think I mentioned before, Twitter remains my favorite social media platform because it's the one place where I feel like I can sort of create a reflection of my psyche, of my mind, the way my mind works. It's always
I get
been
the feeling you feel the same way, Shira, and they feel the same way, Devendra. I mean, both of you use Twitter a lot.
I feel like it's been the easiest, most seamless social platform to continue doing. Like, I feel like I have no energy drain around Twitter because they're not changing every moment. Like every 6 months, it's a new way of doing it or using it. And so, like, for me, it feels like the best energy exchange social network. Like, I'm most at peace with Twitter. Even though it could be annoying, as you said, for some things like trolling or for obviously there's misinformation on every platform. But I feel like you can grow your brand the most on Twitter.
Really?
Like, it's not. Well, I feel like it's the easiest way to grow it if you're clear about what you do and who you are. And it's so easy to connect with people on it. Right. I just feel like with Instagram and YouTube, they made it so hard, and even Facebook.
Agreed, Devendra?
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. For me, I think I've mentioned this before on Twit. Like, my fascination with the internet started when I hit up, AOL in the mid 90s and Prodigy and everything. And it's like all this information from all over the world. And I could talk with all these people, and it's also seamless, and it's right there in front of me. And Twitter, to me, is the best representation of that idea of like all the information in the world, sort of like, the characters in the Matrix just falling down in front of you. And it is overwhelming. It can be too much, and I think things can get overblown, but as a representation of the power of the internet and the value of getting so much information out there, I think it's genuinely the best social network. Facebook kind of does it too, but gets bogged down in the interconnectedness and a lot of different things. Like, just for me and the way I use the internet, Twitter is the best. I'm surprised they're not focusing more on the people like us who really love it and would pay. I would gladly pay for some more features, better software. I don't know why TweetDeck is still such a piece of crap. But we would pay for that too. That's like money waiting for them if they ever decide to pick it up.
And what about
pay for editable tweets?
And what about the last big thing Twitter announced, Fleets? Is that, which looks to me just like Instagram Stories, which was a copy of Snapchat Stories, is nothing. That's not
nothing.
Going. And now they're turning that into Spaces, which is a copy of Clubhouse, which is the current hotness, at least in Silicon Valley. Clubhouse is still invite only. That's an audio only chat room that you can listen in on, which feels very retro when I describe it.
I know.
Powered entirely by hype, I'd say. Like, I don't know what happens to Clubhouse when when it's less exclusive, when everybody can go on there. It's not a small social network right now, but it is, I don't know what the value is beyond you being part of the special thing, and occasionally Elon Musk shows up.
Well, that's pretty good.
I think that's
not
pretty
bad.
cool. Mark Zuckerberg
Bill
has shown
Gates.
up. Right?
Bill
Gates.
Yeah, there's all these people who've walked into these rooms that I find remarkable. Also, it's Paul Davidson Davidson's one of the people who founded it. Was original Highlight founder, another sort of South by
Highlight
Southwest.
was the same idea. Yeah, sort of.
Well, that was sort of near me technology, but it was very, very hyped until people realized it was also a little creepy. And so this is his next truly big thing. I mean, the biggest thing he's done since then. But I don't know. This feels like it might have more staying power.
You're right. This is exactly the kind of thing that would have gone big at South by. Like everybody's on Clubhouse. It's like Meerkat. Didn't that happen with Meerkat? You couldn't go 5 feet in Austin without somebody saying, "I'm streaming in a Meerkat." We had a guy. We had an employee. We finally had to put up a sign that says, "Jeff, stop meerkatting."
Stop. Just stop.
But what would you do if South by was around and then you're also on Clubhouse? Like you're seeing people in person, you're like, join our Clubhouse too. Or I guess you might have
Clubhouse
maybe you would have like a room like where we are, like the hot spots, and so everyone would be like on it to find out where everyone is.
See, your mind's working. You're already working it. You already figured it out.
And you won't be able to hear anybody.
You won't be able to hear anybody.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear anything. Yeah. Actually, I think Clubhouse would work as sort of an after hours thing. So after everybody's done their parties, then they go back to the rooms, and then they all everybody joins together in the middle of the night.
I'm so tired, man. I'm so hungover. Oh God. Oh man.
They rebuilt those conference call services from the mid-90s.
That's what it is.
Remember, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's everybody with the same crappy audio quality. And it's just like,
it's so successful that Mark Cuban has announced a clone, Fireside. Twitter's got Spaces, basically a clone, right?
Well, do you think that this would have had any chance if it weren't for the pandemic? I mean, the fact that we can't get together in person seems like it's just the perfect accelerant for Clubhouse. I mean, suddenly we're back in the room again, but we're, with dozens of people or more, but we're safe.
It's also like OnlyFans in this regard. And what was that? What's the one where you pay somebody to do a short message for
Cameo.
Cameo.
Yes, yeah. Cameo.
Yeah. The problem is all the movie stars aren't working. So they're just sitting around. So, suddenly Jared Leto can wander into Clubhouse because he's not working.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's easier to get them as guests.
Yeah.
So I think we were already moving into the audio space, as we all know, through podcasting. And I feel like there was going to be this merger of the live streaming and the podcasting. And this was it. And also radio, right? And with Spotify getting into possibly live audio, I feel like it was going to happen, and then it got accelerated because of the pandemic.
Who could have predicted that? I just never would have thought. I guess maybe I'm just a little jealous because I've been doing all this for so long.
Well, so I want to know, Leo, someone like you, are you going to play in Clubhouse with your brand? Or is it just okay, this is another thing that happens outside of it and it is what it is?
Justine was on a few weeks ago, sent me an invite. And I went in there and I go, every time I'm sitting around playing Animal Crossing. Have I mentioned that's my new game? I feel like I'm wasting so much time. I should do something. So I'll fire up Clubhouse and see if there's something I can listen to. But I haven't really said anything in there. I'm too shy to say anything in there. I don't.
What?
It's
no.
Yeah.
Well, it is kind of demoralizing if you set up a room and no one comes in.
Oh God.
Exactly.
Then you're standing around virtually.
How embarrassing.
Okay, then.
Anybody want to come on the stage? Come on, you can come on the stage.
Pretty much.
It is. Yeah.
And then you see people.
It is everything
to
bad.
Watch people jump in and then jump out.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yep.
Oh, I've wondered that because I do that all the time. You can see me do that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You come up, and you come in the audience.
Yeah, nice.
So
Leo. I've seen you do
that.
Leo Laporte's in here. No, he's gone.
I've done that though. I'll see someone that's my friend or someone I haven't seen in a while and be like, MG Siegler, oh my God.
MG. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, you only get 500 words from MG and he's gone.
Right.
It's really interesting to watch the ferment around this. You're right. I didn't even think of that, but a lot of this probably is because of the quarantine.
We're just bored.
We're just bored to tears.
Yeah.
So what happens? I mean, best case scenario. People are getting vaccinated. It's starting to speed up. Everybody say, "Oh, don't take it. Let's go. We got variants. We got mutants. You don't know what's going." But you know what? By the summertime, 99%, it's just going to be back to normal. We'll all be a little gun shy, but we can't wait to get out in the real world. Does all this stuff just go down the toilet and?
Oh, most definitely. I hope so.
That's a good question. Yeah,
I don't know
if Clubhouse can survive this.
You think it survives,
a
Shira?
healthy world?
Not at the level. I mean, because you either need to be, and I'm sorry to say this, but like you need to be single, unemployed,
There's
and
plenty
childless to really spend hours there.
Plenty of
like
them.
I don't get people can spend like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
They're on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I think that we'll still be using it, but it will be like, if people are walking outside or at the park, they'll have, just like they were catching up on their podcasts, they're going to be on Clubhouse perhaps.
Yeah.
On my group conference call, it is everything bad about first of all, throwing a party and hoping, the anxiety of people may not show up, but also the idea of going into a room being like, should I go here? Is this a private conversation? Am I intruding on what these people are doing? Like, it is all these levels of social anxiety that I go through when I just like open up Clubhouse. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll stick around.
It's a very interesting world we live in. That is for sure. I can't wait to see. I'm really fascinated by what's going to happen when this is over. Like, is it going to be the Roaring 20s? We talked about this before. Is it going to be the Roaring 20s where it's just are people going to be gun shy and PTSD and walking around with masks? And, should I shake your hand or fist bump? I don't know. What's it going to be like? And by the way, every company, Salesforce just did it, Spotify did it. It says you don't have to come back to work. You're fine. Yeah. Stay home.
I think somebody's going to develop an app where you can set up hug fests. Like basically, you're going to register. You can say, "I've been vaccinated.
Yes.
Let's meet at this spot, this public spot, and everybody's going to hug." And this is it's like people are literally going to be desperate for physical contact, but they're going to have to be smart about it. So they're going to use an app to schedule it and ensure they're doing it safely. But I swear this is going to happen. And by the way, if anybody creates this app, they better talk to me.
Weren't there cuddle parties before this?
That I don't want.
And also
maybe that's just a mailing list I'm on. I'm sorry.
Something else. That's something else. It could be a return of the free hugs.
Free hugs.
That
Hug
used
guy.
to show up.
Hug guy.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
Free hugs.
That's
always.
You got to monetize.
That strikes me as a little creepy. Don't you think?
No, free hugs. I mean, it's nice. Do you notice that you're very like I feel like my partner I'm with right now. I'm just like so desperately needing like closeness at different points because I'm nonstop on my computer on Zoom. I don't see people, so when I'm with him, I'm just like, I want a human.
I have noticed that actually. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
My poor
so
wife.
Interesting.
Go away.
My poor wife.
I think it's nice. It's probably what we should be doing with our partners.
They said there would be a baby boom from the quarantine. I don't know if there was one.
I mean, I know several people within my family that, yes.
The harder ones are having a baby boom.
They're coming.
Okay.
They're coming, and I have a 2-year-old right now. So talk about being close to just a human all the time.
Yeah.
I heard there's going to be a decrease because of just like people losing their jobs and money and everything. And we saw the first dip in the world population or in, having babies or something.
There is that too.
I've heard that too.
And also just everybody who wants to travel, do it before the babies, because it's so much harder.
My daughter just said, I'm never bringing a child into this world. She said that would be irresponsible to bring a child.
And I think a lot of people, and that is like the thing, we're getting like the children of men sort of syndrome into this idea. There's a great movie, the great Ethan Hawke movie, First Reformed. Check it out, because that is the moral thrust of that movie. The world is falling apart. We're killing the environment. What is the moral responsibility of bringing a child into this world? It's getting harder and harder every day to justify that. Yeah.
So here's the story. Thanks to the chat room. Baby bust. America's pandemic birth declines steeper than initially believed. Some European countries with stronger social safety nets saw gains. So that tells you, you're exactly right. It's economic insecurity. It's food insecurity. People saying, I'm not having a baby now.
Right.
Florida
it's
down.
hard to have a kid in America.
Florida down year to year, 9.3%. Arizona down 8.7%. Ohio down 8.4%. Baby bust. That's a significant drop.
We're gonna turn to Japan with an aging population. They better build us robots not going to have the kids to take care of us.
We're working as fast as we can, Lance. Okay, just be patient. We got the dogs handled now. It's just a question of human beings. Well, there you go. Twitter. It's funny because we've watched Twitter change over the years. They still seem to be chasing active users. They still seem to be chasing money, monetizing. They're constantly coming up with new stuff. I feel like somewhat, and I've heard people say this, Jack Dorsey, the CEO, is kind of a part-time CEO. And, he kind of comes in and says, let's do that. And then leaves.
It's his side hustle.
It's a side hustle.
Side hustle.
I work here from 5 to 9.
Literally. And go on a silent retreat for 2 weeks and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, when he's not living in a yurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Weaving his beard.
You could weave that beard. You could make quite a nice blanket out of that beard.
One thing we've noticed, especially like just having covered Twitter in many different ways, I don't know how many Twitter people actually use Twitter. And that's the thing. Like, they have a fundamentally different idea of what the network can be compared to us actually who are there constantly swinging, reloading our feeds every day.
They don't have any affinity for people who actually use their platform.
Yeah, which is why, as a power Twitter user, it's like, why this TweetDeck? What happened to TweetDeck?
No, that kind of explains it. Yeah. And then go ahead.
They sometimes don't seem to want to play to that audience. Like, Devendra and I and Shira, we're that hardcore audience, but over the years, all they've talked about is making Twitter more accessible to people who are not into Twitter. So,
well, that's where the growth
TweetDeck is right, and TweetDeck is a side thing to them. They've always sort of deprecated it.
They bought it.
I had
and never did anything. Yeah,
because they didn't kill it, which had been my original concern. But they're not going to throw lots of money into it because they can't spend all their time on the power users when, as you said, growth remains so important. And by the way, growth is not simply a matter of adding people. Any service has incredible churn. The churn means you are constantly losing people, and they lose people. They have to clear out bots. So, it's like this roller coaster ride for them. Dip down, they got to push back up harder. Dip down, push back up harder. So, it's a very difficult thing to grow. They don't, they're not marching into countries and then suddenly just growing like the next big thing. And somehow Facebook, keeps marching through the world and making sure that people are connected so they can continue to grow at that scale. That's simply not possible for Twitter at this point.
Also, because they haven't looked at themselves like that. I feel like they never had that Mark Zuckerberg way of looking at their business.
Well, but
it was like democratization. I think they wanted more peace and love. Like, I don't know. They just didn't want to capitalize on it the way
but they have to understand
Mark Zuckerberg did.
The thing that makes Twitter appealing is these power users like you guys that are putting content on it. I mean, well, that's the problem, is because monetization. So like what's trending, my company was monetizing on video, and just like their monetization is just so, like for a company like that, we've gotten kicked out of the program so many times. Like, we're brought in the program and then we have one video that someone monetizes when it shouldn't be, and they're like, you're out. And you're like, what? That doesn't make sense for someone who's creating all the time. Like, it's just so, and then even if you were doing paid on Twitter, you literally email someone like that their manager said that I could do paid on their tweets. Like, that's how janky the program is. It's pretty janky.
Yeah.
I don't think people know how janky the back end is at Twitter. It's very much like very ad hoc. Then there's YouTube, which is a powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
YouTube seems to know what it's doing. Is your experience with YouTube better, Shira?
I mean, no, like YouTube took out their social functionality years ago. Like, when I started, before What's Trending, I started this thing called Partners Project, and we were interviewing YouTube stars. The reason why we grew is because if we covered someone, if they liked it and commented on the video, it would appear in their feed.
Oh.
YouTube took that out.
Yeah, that's
and after
gone.
that, there was no social element to it. There was no way for someone to discover the content unless they tweeted it or Instagrammed it. So I would have to be on another platform to promote it, which would defeat the purpose. Like, why would you then push your social talent, the influencers, off the platform?
Is that something TikTok got right? It's something TikTok did, right? And got right.
Yeah. That seems like it.
Right?
Yeah, that you can like and comment, and then it appears in the feed. You could see what people are liking. Yeah, I mean,
but also encouraging people to do remixes and duets.
Yeah.
The
stitching and stuff like that. The duets.
That's pretty amazing. That's been brilliant.
That's brilliant. And I don't even know why YouTube hasn't generated something like that, because that would be amazing. But it also works better for shorter video. It's harder when you've got something like a 5 to 10 minute video. But yeah.
Well, ironically, YouTube is creating a TikTok-like short video platform, right? So
yes,
clearly they see.
All they had to do is say I collaborated with someone.
They had it.
And I put part 1 and part 2 on theirs, and we could both. It's like the views go to both. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it's two different sources. And then we're both monetizing. We're sharing the monetization. That could have been like the modern day collaboration, right? There was just so many things, and even just keeping the like and the comment button where my feed would see what I'm liking and commenting on, then it would be a great way for discovery. It doesn't make sense.
You wrote a piece, Lance, a couple of days ago on Medium. The secret to TikTok success is there is no secret. Everybody has a theory about how to become TikTok famous, but really it's serendipity. It's the algorithm. It's just, I mean, who thought longboarding down the street to Fleetwood Mac's Dreams drinking cranberry juice would make you a TikTok star?
I know. It's incredible what happens there. And so much time is spent on TikTok, people trying to figure out the secret.
Is there no secret?
What's going? And
it's easy.
It really isn't, but it's well, if you read.
Well, wait a minute. Devendra says there is a secret. What's the secret?
No. I mean that the secret is, and I like your article, Lance, but the secret is basically it's easy. You don't have to do anything really.
The platform is. No. There's no secret to how well designed the platform is. Just like we just talked about, the duets, the sharing, how easy it is to create a TikTok. All of that is why so many people post. And of course, the brilliant thing is you create a platform that encourages and makes it easy to create. You get millions of people submitting videos. Then you let the algorithm pick the hits. And
it's a good algorithm.
It's profit.
Yeah.
And
so that's clear. We know that works, but how do you become that person? I don't know.
But that's the question, right? And that's because believe me, I've been talking about TikTok for years now, and I understand why it's successful. What I think is hard, and I'm somebody who's on TikTok and terrible at it, but I spend a lot of time watching TikToks and seeing how people are trying to tease apart the algorithm, tease apart, it's this, it's that. Sometimes it's weird things, and sometimes it's super specific.
Yeah, who would have thought setting snowballs on fire would be huge on TikTok?
Right, you don't know. It's everything. The things that work on TikTok are the aha moments.
You know what's the best part? Is these celebrities who come on TikTok and it's
well, no, not necessarily. No, all right. So the thing
who's a hit? What celebrity's a hit on TikTok?
Will
I
Smith.
feel like I always see a celebrity that. So, all right. Here's the thing. So I was on Musical.ly before it was TikTok. So I blew up on Musical.ly. I was an early adopter user. Then TikTok came around, and because I was putting so much effort in Musical.ly, I had to start figuring out something else because I wasn't monetizing. Right.
Yeah.
And so I took like a year. Not off, but then of course, as I took the year off, TikTok blew up. And now I have like 600,000 followers.
Oh, that you brought with you from Musical.ly.
I can't even and every few months,
Shira?
it feels like it gets harder and harder.
You got to start singing into the hairbrush again.
Oh, yeah.
That's what worked. That's what worked.
It's so funny. Well, you would think that clickbaity stuff like, oh, I'm in my bikini. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't, right? I think it's like the more shots you take, the more possibility you can get in the algorithm.
I like that because I've always felt like Instagram's easy if you wear a bikini. But no, seriously, I
do get more. I do get more likes when I show something like this, or when I dance around and you can see stuff. Like that's the reality. I'm not gonna.
Where would that be? What part of what is that on Instagram? Is that on TikTok? Where is that?
At Shira Lazar.
Okay, thank you.
No, but I take a lot of my TikToks and I put it on my Instagram. So the thing is,
Lisa won't let me follow you, Shira. She says it's too sexy.
No, so this is the thing. TikTok.
If I wear my yoga pants on TikTok, you think that would be? No.
Oh,
The
I mean, if
jorts?
that's your brand.
No, it's not my brand. It's not my brand.
I find the things that do well for me on TikTok are like I could make cat sounds and like I
Yes.
had a cat and then out of nowhere that got more views than my other ones, which were like really thoughtful, serious posts.
Is that a good thing? I think that's a good thing. It's not a good thing for you or any creator because you can't figure it out. But I think it's a good thing for the platform.
But once you do, you start then doubling down on those things that work.
Right.
Right.
That's
the
key thing. Yeah, that's the key thing. And that's one point that I made in the article is that ultimately it's sort of this consistency thing. You have something that works and you're really hyper consistent on it and consistent on the quality. Like there's a set of guys I'm sure you've seen.
Like Marquez Brownlee, for instance.
Right, exactly.
It's all about quality. He doesn't even do that many videos, but his standard is so high.
They're so good. They're so good. There's a guy,
Casey Neistat, same thing, right? Just brilliant editor.
Although, and
he's taking a break.
I mean, those guys
taking a
do
break?
really different types.
Wait a minute. No, what's happening to Casey?
Casey has been on a break.
Is he taking a break again?
No, I mean, he's not on YouTube as much as he used to.
He
I mean,
burned
he's
out.
just
That's
like
what
back.
happened. He was doing
he was
so
just like, I want to
much.
spend time with my family and he posts, but it's not like he does it in the same way.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Lance. I got shocked when I heard that.
But there's a couple of guys on TikTok who their whole thing is they take somebody's questionable or sort of like something that they've done. They say, you'll be amazed, this works. And they actually say, does it work? Like every single TikTok is, does this work?
Right.
And that works. They've really found a way of digging into the platform in a way that feels really, intrinsic to it and built their own brand on top of it. But you have to it's going back to what we were saying at the beginning of this whole talk is that, you have to have this level of commitment. You have to work really hard at it. You have to do it multiple times, a week or a day. And you also have to put up with the fact that often you are going to fail.
Yeah. It feels like it's a part-time job or full-time job. And then I would say with the celebrities, I mean, I think some celebrities just join it, and there are some that TikTok knows are joining, right? They've been trying to get them on for the past year, and then they join, and they kind of like give them a little boost or discovery. Like, well, I know that's happening.
If I go to
Washington Post,
if I go to the front page of TikTok, suggested accounts: Gordon Ramsay, Will Smith, I'm Kevin Hart, Selena Gomez, Snoop Dogg, Jason Derulo, all over it. And yet, I have a feeling.
My God, Jason Derulo's everywhere.
But are those really? I'm sure they're getting paid by the management companies.
I don't know. Who knows? They might be, but also it's like because they're getting suggested, they know they're going to blow up there, so they know they're like ahead of it on those platforms.
But I would say that those guys, Will Smith and Derulo, like are really good examples of people who understand the platform and use it in a way that makes sense. And you can see the difference how some people get on and they're like, I barely know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Will Smith's TikToks, 13.3 million, 7 million, 4.2 million, 38.
He's got good people around him. Like his YouTube channel is also fantastic. So it's like,
So you hire somebody, you hire a young person.
Yeah.
He has a team. He's like, they've figured it out.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, if you're a young person and you're trying to find fame and fortune, don't do it yourself. Just sell yourself as I'm a young person. I understand how this works.
It's true.
I'm a young person. I know how it works.
You get a job with Jason Derulo or somebody, and
Yes.
All right, let's take a break. I've been having too much fun, and I've skipped way past break time. Our show today brought to you by Extra Hop. Extra Hop. We were talking about the SolarWinds attack. I'm going to actually, when we come back, I want to talk about. There's a funny story with that. This sunburst attack scared the bejesus out of big companies, governments, little companies. This was a wake-up call, frankly, because it was using a trusted service. It was a supply chain attack. How do you prepare? Cyber attacks are getting more advanced, harder to detect. And frankly, the most advanced threat actors are the ones already inside the environment, the APTs. They've been there for a long time without our knowledge, or they're the trusted providers who are, we give them complete access because, well, that's our security software. But the problem is when cyber criminals get past your defenses, they're in. You need a way to detect them and respond to them. And the old model of just putting up a big wall is not enough. Extra Hop Reveal X. This is an amazing solution that shows you not just where intruders are going, but where they've been. When a bad guy gets in your network, they spend a lot of time trying to cover up their traces. They can't. with ExtraHop. You can investigate incidents and prevent them from turning into full-blown breaches. The question every security team has to answer every day is, are we okay? Have we been compromised? ExtraHop Reveal X makes it super simple to answer that question. You've got 90 days of record look back, complete network visibility across the data center, but not just in your on-prem data center, but in the cloud, even all the way to the device edge, which allows security teams to get to real answers in seconds. In a post-compromise world, your greatest chance of stopping advanced threats is with ExtraHop, Network Detection and Response, NDR. You want to know more? See this website? If you're watching the video, you do extrahop.com/twit. If you're not, you can see the demo. You could see what it can do. You could try it for yourself. Learn how ExtraHop stops breaches 84% faster and explore this interactive demo. I think once you try it, once you see, you're going to want this on your desktop. Every network needs ExtraHop. extrahop.com/twit. extrahop.com/twit. We had a very fun week this week on the network. We're going to have a great time next week. I'll tell you what's coming up next week. But before we do that, let's look back. This is a little video we made for you. Enjoy.
Kellogg's has an offer right now where if you buy a participating product, they will give you a 14 or 30-day Xbox Game Pass Ultimate code. Pop-Tarts, Pringles, and Cheez-Its, right? This is like the holy trinity of stuff you should never be sticking in your body. Just don't do this, folks. My tip is you can play
not
Xbox.
to do this.
Previously on Twit. This week in Google.
Biden signs executive order to address chip shortage through a review to strengthen supply chains.
For those of you who are not just riveted by the chip industry, there has been a huge shortage of semiconductors. People actually can't make cars right now because they don't have enough.
It's amazing,
automotive
isn't it?
silicon.
Yeah.
Hands-on tech.
This week, I'm actually able to take a look at this camera right here, the Sony A7C. Ooh, boy, have quite a bit to say about this camera.
Windows Weekly.
The stupidest folder in all of Windows is going to be removed in the future, and that folder is 3D objects.
They finally given up.
I've always why on earth?
That dates back to when they were going to use HoloLens for consumer stuff.
So you see, we did have breaking news at the top of the show.
Twit.
You guys are screwing around with this nonsense about the Federal Reserve, and I was looking at the important issues of the day.
The stupidest folder in Windows. Actually, I'm going to come back with Mary Jo and Paul, of course, Wednesday of this week for Windows Weekly. But Tuesday, Mary Jo gave me a little insight. She said you should we weren't going to do it, but she said you should absolutely stream the Satya Nadella keynote from Ignite Part 2. That's 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 Eastern Time this coming Tuesday. I will be here. We expect, because Alex Kipman is really the keynoter. Nadella, the CEO, is going to introduce Kipman. Kipman's responsible for HoloLens. And I'm starting to hear the rumor mill that there's going to be a big HoloLens announcement or some sort of big AR, mixed reality, VR. We keep hoping that somebody's going to come up with something that lives up to the hype for AR and mixed reality. The HoloLens, I don't think it's quite it. We'll see. That's Tuesday on Twit. We'll be streaming that live. Okay, now what? We did Twitter. we did Clubhouse. We did TikTok. Let's talk about the SolarWinds hack. There's really only one hysterical story. Ex-CEO of SolarWinds testifying in front of Congress. It turns out that, and I don't know if this was the whole story behind the SolarWinds hack, but it was a big part of it. Back in 2017, for reasons unknown, they let an intern set the password for their GitHub repository for all the source code for their updates. Yeah. In 2017, the intern set the password SolarWinds 123, which, to paraphrase Spaceballs, might be a good password for your luggage, but not for your update facility. The worst part is it had to have been used by employees and passed around for years. It wasn't, quote, discovered till 2019.
No, God.
Katie Porter Representative Katie Porter says, I've got a stronger password than SolarWinds 123 to stop my kids from watching too much YouTube on their iPad. You're supposed to be preventing the Russians from reading Defense Department emails. What's the story? Microsoft has been very involved in this. Brad Smith, president of Microsoft, testified as well, saying no evidence the Pentagon was actually affected by the Russian spying campaign. Well, I'm not sure what that means, affected.
Yeah.
Sounds like a weasel word. They got in. They didn't launch any missiles, so I guess it's okay.
They don't know.
They don't know. And furthermore, they don't know what will happen in future because they haven't eliminated these people. Anyway. Rashida Tlaib confronted former SolarWinds CEO Kevin Thompson. He said, it was a mistake. An intern made it. Don't blame me. Jeez Louise.
Wow.
Verizon's now advising users on Twitter, if your battery life's not great, turn off 5G. Devindra.
I mean, yeah. Listen, I work for Verizon technically, so
okay, it's a good policy.
Whatever the company says, I think it's a good idea.
Gosh.
But maybe
great.
5G was a questionable upgrade for a lot of folks, and no comment, no further comment.
You know, there is to be fair, because there are fewer 5G cells, right? There are fewer 5G towers. Your phone will work harder if you're on 5G trying to seeking. And when it's seeking, you're draining more battery. So it's not necessarily the act of being on 5G. It could be the act of garbage 5G. I, for example, live in a garbage 5G area where it's
Is that the United States? Is that where you live? Yeah.
I can leave, honestly, if I leave my house, which I almost never do, I can actually get some decent 5G.
Are you in a city, Lance? Where are you?
I'm out on Long Island in New York.
Island. So if you went into Manhattan and you were on 5th Avenue between 110th and 104th, you'd get great 5G.
Right, as long as I'm not standing next to like a big building that's blocking the direct line.
If you were 150 feet in the air.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about 5G, that there are these issues about just keeping connected to it. Once you have it, it's amazing. But getting it, keeping it, and the stress it might put on the battery for your new phone, that can be an issue.
Yeah, even within New York, like I think we, in our Tesla and Gadget, like we got good 5G at like Bryant Park, maybe, and some of the like good. In the park where you have a lot of space.
5G. Yeah.
Open space, space. You can see the antenna, but once you go into any street or anything, then it's like you're blocked. And this relies so much on line of sight. It is, you got nothing beyond that, like beyond 4G LTE.
I mean, I see 5G on my phones, but most of the 5G most people are getting is the low bands, 800 or 700 megahertz 5G, not the ultra millimeter wave, super fast high G. And low band 5G is, right, Devindra, pretty much the same as LTE. It's a little faster.
It's not much different. Yeah.
So in fact,
you have to pay for that other.
And you're paying for it, and you had to get this iPhone cost more and had to have a special little window on the side so that the millimeter wave, which I will never in my life encounter, could get in. So it's not unreasonable for Verizon to say, this is actually, they don't say turn off 5G. They're not that dumb. They say, are you noticing your battery life is draining faster than normal? This was on Twitter this morning. One way to help conserve battery life is to turn on LTE, which turns off 5G.
But keep 5G in your plan. Please.
Keeps 5G in your plan.
Yeah.
You keep paying for it.
Yeah, keep it there.
Yeah. That's. Oh, Lord. Do you have 5G, Shira? Are you enjoying it?
I don't.
You don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know.
By the way, that is the universal reaction.
I mean, I literally go back and forth between my Wi-Fi and LTE.
Yeah, we're all on Wi-Fi.
That's true.
And when it's on 4G, even it doesn't work. So I'm not on 5G.
Jeez Louise. I don't know if this is going to happen, but a court has ordered in the Epic Apple dispute, a court has ordered Steam, which is completely unrelated, to hand over aggregate historical sales, price, and other information on 436 games hosted on the Steam store on Apple.
Yeah. Steam is like, Valve is like, make me. Why? I'm a private company.
I'd be furious. This is ridiculous. The U.S. Magistrate Judge Thomas Hickson, who's hearing the case, ordered that Apple's asked for it, ordered that Apple's subpoena for the data was valid, however said, I love this, and this is a direct quote, Apple has salted the earth with subpoenas and told Valve, don't worry, it's not just you.
Right, we're going after everybody.
They're going to get everybody. They're probably coming after us. Tell us how many people listen to your show, Leo.
Yeah, they want to prove that that this is how people make money with apps.
Right.
That everybody's taking their cut. That it's not just them. That when Apple has put out lots of comparative tables that show you exactly everybody's sheet for how much they're charging for all of these things. And I think that that discovery, that shedding light on this, is how Apple believes they win. That they say, you're picking on us, but
everybody's doing it.
This is how the world works.
And in fact, I think Valve charges 30%, right? I think that's the standard rate. It is on consoles. I don't know what Valve's cut is, but I'm sure that's why they're subpoenaing this. By the way, Apple's lawyer said, hey, we could have asked for data on all 30,000 games. We're just asking for 436. It's nothing. Valve says, we're a small company. We don't have time to do this. What are you, nuts? They would have to dedicate multiple employees working full-time. This epic Apple battle has gotten uglier and uglier. Let's see. That was the Apple story. How about the new Echo Show 10 with the rotating follow you camera? You get one of these in your house there, Devendra? Look at that.
No.
Follows you everywhere.
Follows you everywhere. It's really, it's cool. It's kind of cool and weird and creepy. We reviewed it. I believe it was Nicole Lee at Engadget, and she found it kind of cool and useful, but also super creepy. Like we're surrounded by screens enough. I don't want it following me.
Which is creepier,
no matter what I'm doing,
or the drone that Amazon is the Ring
so
drone?
weird.
I don't think that's ever coming out. That's
I haven't seen it. It was supposed to have.
Why?
Yeah. Well,
Even just lawsuits. That thing takes off when you don't expect it. I mean, why?
They said, well, it's really loud. It couldn't sneak up on you. Oh, thanks. That's good. All right. The Echo Show 10 is $250. I like the old
which isn't
Echo
bad
Show.
for that level of hardware. Like that's a decent price.
10.1 inch screen.
You need that feature.
We use our Echo in the
robot.
kitchen. We watch, the Tonight Show monologue and stuff on it. It's great. I could see the doorbell and see who's waiting at the door. Okay, so there you go.
There's that. It is kind of like heightening Amazon's like level of surveillance, I guess, because now the camera can follow you. Pretty soon it's going to be on a rollerball like BB-8, and running around after you in the house. So it's getting creepier and creepier.
Didn't Sony make that robot? They tried to sell.
That's true. They did make
Sony
Sony
had.
but
It was
over
gonna
here,
follow you around the house.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it work though? Then if someone's in there, like instead of you having it in the corner, and then they can go to places where they can't get it, the camera, it'll just be like when you're not there, look all around.
Well,
or you could just have a Facebook portal, which has a special camera that basically has this wide angle,
but
tightens it. Doesn't move at all. It doesn't have to because it uses technology to cheat it and can focus in on different things in the room.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. What if it's like for your grandparent or someone, you're dating someone from out of town and they want to like check in on you?
Oh,
Find you.
Great.
Let's meet the boyfriend. Oh,
yeah. Well, if you could look down on the floor to check that grandma hasn't taken a fall, then
that's useful.
I'm down for it.
But grandma doesn't really
you
want you to have a camera in her house, I'm pretty sure. If you have a Roomba i7 or S9 robot vacuum, you may have noticed it acting a little bit odd lately. The update for version 3.12.8 of the software is causing people to say, Roomba, you're go home, you're drunk. Their robot cleaner cleans in strange patterns, gets stuck in an empty area, doesn't...
That's Roomba on a good day.
Yeah. I actually got rid of my Roomba.
These are supposed to be the most expensive ones.
Yeah. These are we had one of these. They're very expensive, but it drove me crazy. This is a time lapse of the i7 attempting to return to clean base. The Roomba is supposed to vacuum and it's supposed to vacuum in such a way that it gets every spot, and then before it dies, go back to the charger. This is what his Roomba was doing. This is a time lapse, obviously. It's just it's confused.
You guys taken over by a ghost or the Russians, a Russian hack.
Oh, I can't get to the base.
This explains a lot, actually.
I really appreciate this empty room, though. I got to say, most rooms are not like that.
Yeah, no.
It's
How
the perfect
realistic
room
is
for
it?
Roomba.
He cleaned up for the Roomba. Still couldn't get to the charger, though. In fact, the battery died. Before, just kept doing that.
This solves a major mystery of what's happening in my house. So yeah, thank you, Leo.
I've told the story before. Forgive me if you've heard it, but we had one of those fancy Roombas, and it was just it would get up in the middle of the night. It would make its so that's bad,
God.
and then it would start vacuuming, and then invariably it would get stuck. It couldn't get under something, and it would start going boom. Boom.
Oh, that's a sound. Yeah.
Boom. Boom. So I would get up. It's 3 a.m. because we don't want the Roomba to do it when we're walking around. So I'd get up at 3 a.m, take it, okay, little Roomba, put it back on its charger. Next night, boom. Boom. So finally, the last.
Wait.
What?
You scheduled it to run in the middle of the night, Leo?
Yes, because otherwise there's people
You
walking
can't complain about it making noise. It's a vacuum
I
cleaner.
would never do that. My Roomba
Yeah,
gets
that would freak
stuck
me out
once-
because I would be like,
once-
What do you do,
downstairs.
Leo?
Well, you don't want it when you're awake. It's going to hit
I don't
you.
know.
You
What
let
about
it
in the
run it
morning?
during the
Just stay
day.
out of the way.
Yeah, when you leave
When
the
you're at
house.
work.
You know, that's the thing.
leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would
Nobody
love for you to
leaves
license
anymore.
the way you say that sound, Leo, to iRobot. I would love if my iRobot made yeah, the way you do it. That would be awesome.
Finally, about the 5th time that happened, I took it, instead of bringing it back to the charger, I brought it into the garage and I put it under the tire of Lisa's car. But she saw it before
That's
she
so
ran.
sad.
Aw.
Yeah, I felt,
That's sad.
I know.
But Roomba's like, you
Roomba
programmed me to do this. I'm doing this because of you.
This is robot abuse.
It's robot side,
Wow.
Roomba side. I almost
why the Matrix happened.
I tried to kill my
Where's-
Roomba.
The PETA for robots is coming.
Uh-oh. I'm going to be the first on the wall when they come. Okay, so we have Amazon's rotating camera, not going to do that. Helicopter never going to be released, which is too bad. I'm disappointed. We are going to see the helicopter, Perseverance's helicopter, fly on Mars next week, right? It's next week, I think.
Very exciting.
3 weeks, okay. That's very exciting. Also, by the way, making Linux the #1 operating system on Mars, which is, I think...
Wow.
I will never get tired of that joke. Yeah.
Oh, you've heard it before.
Finally, Linux wins.
Linux
on one
wins.
planet. Yeah.
Linux wins on Mars. Facebook is considering face recognition in its upcoming smart glasses. This is according to Facebook Vice President Andrew Bosworth. They're
It's
evaluating.
in our name. Are you surprised?
Yeah, they're evaluating the legal and privacy issues around it. Mm-hmm. Ryan Mack writing for BuzzFeed. Mm-hmm. Here's the quote: "Face recognition might be the thorniest issue, where the benefits are so clear and the risks are so clear, and we don't know where to balance those things." Oh, come on, Bosworth, you're Facebook. Just do it.
We think after destroying the U.S. democracy that we can really tackle this problem,
something
too.
really good.
We're really experienced
Really,
here.
really
Yeah.
good.
It's a shame. I really want a pair of glasses that tell me who I'm looking at,
I
tell
know.
me the name,
Yeah,
because
I
I
know.
forget names all the time.
Yep.
But
Me
I
too.
think Facebook may be the worst company to do it because of their reputation. Google was not a better company to do it, by the way. So maybe Apple.
Give me
which is
LinkedIn
so-called
glasses.
Apple
LinkedIn.
security.
But Apple's
That's
already
true.
saying
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
They can't do anything
just
wrong.
don't make
What could
They're
possibly
so
go
boring.
wrong?
LinkedIn
They're
doesn't
fine.
make anything. Darn it.
Yeah.
They should, though.
It's a good
should.
idea.
The LinkedIn glasses.
Yeah,
That's good.
I like it.
Microsoft has another shot at this, at all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you stock
Maybe
up?
that's what they're announcing on Tuesday.
Or a robotic vacuum that doesn't get drunk, maybe. Instead of the da-da-da-da-da, it'll play the Windows startup sound. Oh, that'll be good. Did you get in on the GameStop big run up there? 100%? No.
I wish.
No.
Nope.
This is funny because this is CNBC and they're trying to pretend it has something to do with actual news. GameStop announced its CFO will resign on March 26th. Oh, yeah, that's why the stock doubled.
Please.
Sure. Sure. That's what it was. Had nothing to do with those guys on Reddit. No. Actually, I guess the Reddit guys might have gotten excited because he was being forced out by Ryan Cohen, who is the guy who's been pushing GameStop to go online, to be a download company instead of a brick and mortar store. So maybe there's some legit there. There's also some evidence, according to Reuters, that bots hyped up GameStop on social media platforms.
You don't say.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, not surprised. That's what's scary about these things. Like, it's easy to game the system if you really wanted to create hype.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now with all these retail investors who are on social media and on Reddit, the trigger is, because it used to be hard to trade, like for average people to trade.
Then there's Robinhood,
so,
right.
Right. So now it's easy with an app like Robinhood, and I think there's like Public, there's a few others, and so they see something and they react, and we see that huge 165% jump in an afternoon.
Yeah, one of the other ones is Webull, which is a Chinese company. So that's interesting. Robinhood, according to Bloomberg, is planning a confidential IPO filing as soon as next month.
Big shot.
Not so confidential anymore.
No. They don't really want it to be confidential, do they?
No.
I'm sure the investors are going to jump on this one, saying, "Hey, this is the time to get some money out of the market since Robinhood's in the news." Square bought some Bitcoin. Kind of I don't know if I support this. This is in the Square financial statements, their fourth quarter results. They bought 3,318 Bitcoins at a purchase price of 170.
This is where Jack Dorsey is really paying attention.
Oh,
He's
man, Jack!
Really on this
Jack, this was obviously between 5 and 9 when Jack was over at Twitter. At $51,000, what is Bitcoin right now? It's not that high.
No.
Let's see, 45,000. So,
yeah, but still insanely high.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
How much?
Really is.
How much Bitcoin do you have?
It's zero.
No Bitcoin.
And, I swear, honestly, years ago when people were barely talking about it, somebody gave me the information, told me how to set up to start mining it, and I remember I started trying, and my computer basically, it had a heart attack. It couldn't do it, and I kind of just walked away. I was kind of like, who's ever going to care about this anyway?
This will never be worth it.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Who knew? You did a story, Devindra. I forgot about this on Cyberpunk and Projekt Red.
Yeah.
It is a mess. What is going on at Projekt Red? They got hacked.
They got hacked. They won't pay the ransomware, and then there was a follow-up story, basically, that after this news came out about the next major patch being delayed till March. Apparently, a lot of the folks at CD Projekt Red have been locked out of their workstations.
Oh my God.
Because of that ransomware. So,
oh my God, and they've decided not to pay.
They're not paying. I think of a lot of companies that they probably would do the same thing because you could still recover, but this like halt in productivity is going to be a big problem for them.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they have backups, and it's going to take them a while, and they're going to get everything back to normal, and they'll get going, but that's going to slow everything else down.
They need to use their computer first, so yeah.
I've heard so many bad things about this game. I haven't gotten far enough to see the bugs and the problems and logic and so forth. I was really excited about it. Is it not a good game? Have you been playing it, Devindra?
It depends on. I guess it really depends on how you're playing it.
I like
and I'm
open
lucky enough
world.
to be playing it. Yeah. I like open world games too, and I think it's been hyped up for so long. There are certainly like legit criticisms over how empty and dead this world feels in this game, but I do think there's great writing in there. There's some really good missions. Like I had a lot of fun with it, but it's not the game I was hoping it would be after waiting so long for it.
It's not as open and dead as what was that space exploration game with the generated planets, and there was like an infinite number of planets.
No Man's Sky, which by the way, they flipped back around and is now apparently incredible. So
I'll have
the
to play
updates
it.
To that have made it very good and welcoming. You can play it in VR now. Like they sat down and focused on that game because that's all they had. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Cyberpunk. I hope it turns around.
Yeah. You know, that's often the case. It's so hard to make these games and make them work, and until you get them out, and especially multiplayer games, until you get them out into a big audience, you maybe don't know what the problems are going to be. And
they knew what the issues were. The coverage of this game was like, they knew there were bugs.
Giving them some benefit.
They just
the doubt.
Pushed it out there. Okay. I think at some point they should have been like, yeah, we cannot put this on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One because it will catch fire.
Yeah.
Like, this game just cannot happen. And they just never admitted to that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that for people, the big problem seemed to be that, the biggest market for this game was on the existing consoles, not the next gen ones. And all those people, including my own, my kids here, my daughter, were hyped. She got the game. She was like, I can't wait to play it on my Xbox One. And as she was getting it, all the stories were hitting. And so she made the executive decision to not play it until the patches come. So she wonon't touch the game.
Smart.
She
Very
refuses
smart.
to have that experience. Yeah. So, but I think that's a terrible thing, that they didn't prepare people for that. That it was like, surprise.
I should have
just delayed it a year.
I should have waited 2 years to play No Man's Sky. Maybe I would have really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hey, I spent like $150 on the limited edition version of that game because I was so excited for it with the little spaceship and it was cool. It's a cool spaceship, and hey, I've gone back and played it, and they have done a great job.
I will try it.
Making that thing good.
Yeah, I had high hopes for it, and this is part of the problem: is you get so hyped. Both Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky were insanely hyped for. I mean, they show trailers at E3 a year ahead of time, and people get so excited, and nothing can live up to that. Nothing. Yeah. Do you play any games?
I don't play games.
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
I don't
Shira.
game. So I was.
You're busy creating.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of creators that game, but I actually was a host for GameStop highlights in store at a certain point.
Really?
So I was hired by a company to do all those highlights, and I remember getting called out because I called Mario.
Oh my God.
And then I went to the GameStop developers conference, or not developers, GameStop like managers conference. And that was really interesting because all of them like knew us because this is all they watch
all the time.
Store.
You're a celebrity.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was celebrity. I'd gone into the gaming world, and then I got more into pop culture and all that. And I follow what's happening, but I don't necessarily game. Like, I'm a complete noob. I'm really bad at it. I get super anxious when I play.
They should have paid you in GameStop stock.
If only I'd known.
If only you'd known. It's like the woman who painted the murals at the old Facebook offices. Yeah. Remember that? Totally. They said, well, we don't have any money. Would you take stock? And I believe she's a multimillionaire, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Good for her.
Speaking of games, the PS5 is going to get its PlayStation VR headset. I thought PlayStation VR was pretty nice on the PS4. I kind of enjoyed it.
Surprisingly nice. Yeah.
It was good.
Well, mostly because you're sitting down. It's hard. It's hard to get nauseous if you're sitting down, I guess.
You could do that with PC VR too. It's more like it was. I guess it somehow worked. Somehow they made decent VR in a pretty cheap console. It just required a ton of wires.
Yeah, and the moves were dopey. I wasn't crazy about them, but it was all right. So
the controllers stank.
Yeah, but the headset
the wands,
worked.
the glowing.
Yeah, the little move wands. Yeah. Your little your glowing ping pong ball ones.
That's it.
That's
picture
cute.
of all of us.
That's Shira right there, getting very anxious.
I would do that. You know what I was really good at? What was the thing? It was the we're not tennis or something where you had to move your.
Oh yeah, the Wii tennis.
Wii.
Yeah,
I was really good at Wii. At any of those games, that was fun. The Wii.
Was that before or after your Tamagotchi?
That was after.
Okay.
I'm aging myself.
We have a Wii at home. I even bought this silly. It's actually a Pilates thing.
It's great.
I love those
great.
are the Dance Revolution ones. I love anything that's more physical. Like anything where I need to kill people or I have to create things and go through obstacles.
You would love Animal Crossing. You need to get a Switch. You basically you're landing on an island. You just have a tent, and you get to design the whole thing, and it takes thousands of hours.
I don't know if I would like that. That would give me anxiety.
You go shake trees. You shake trees. Monetization.
You've done that. That's right. You shake trees. Like I said, I have finally got to the stage where I'm growing golden roses, and those are quite lucrative. Yeah, I have a little golden rose farm, so that's good. This is our gaming segment, such as it is.
Sorry.
HP is buying HyperX, which is a well-known gaming accessory brand.
Great headsets from them.
Yeah. $425 million.
Good for them.
Yikes.
Good for them.
Good for them.
And good for HP. HP needs better accessories because every time I review like a good HP desktop, I reviewed an all-in-one from early last year. It was a great thing. Terrible keyboard, terrible mouse. Like they need help with lots of different things. Yeah.
Very vanilla stuff.
I do feel like though that HP's split was good for the PC side. The getting HP Enterprise off to do their thing. I feel like they helped PC side focus and make better products. They were making very bad. I mean, the Pavilions were nightmare products for years. Now these Envies, they're beautiful. The Spectres are gorgeous.
And the Spectres,
I love the
Spectres.
Spectres.
Spectre. That's a go-to here.
Yeah.
Like the Spectre.
Gorgeous. And they don't have all the junkware they used to have on them and all of that stuff.
Yeah. They made a laptop out of leather. You know,
they did.
It feels good.
Same leather as football leather, right? It was nice, thick, pigskin. Tell us about this MSI you reviewed, as long as we're talking about gaming, the GS66.
The GS66 Stealth. It's a gaming laptop, but I think what's really interesting is that it's one of the first with a 1440p screen, and this is where we get really technical. But
games
for the past several years,
games like to be 1440, not 1080. Not 2166. They like it in the sweet spot in the middle there.
It's a good sweet spot because before gaming laptops were all like either 1080p, which is the original HD standard, and they were getting faster and faster in terms of refresh rate, or they could be 4K, which was hell on your GPU. Just really hard to actually render a game at that resolution. It's too much. So 1440p. Slightly sharper with a high refresh rate. It's great. It's like a great middle ground.
It also comes with a 3080. Isn't that a desktop GPU?
It can include up to the 3080.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've been doing basically slimmer, less powerful versions of their GPUs for the laptops, but they're still really good. Yeah. It just costs a ton.
Right. And you can get it, though. I mean, there's such a shortage. It's a nightmare. All right,
it's a nightmare. It's the whole chip shortage. Yeah.
There's the gaming segment. I hope you all enjoyed that. We don't do a lot of gaming coverage. We probably should do more. But it's always been difficult though because there's so many. It's not one monolithic thing. There's PC gamers, there's console gamers, there's Nintendo Switch gamers, there's casual gamers. Yeah. It's two and kind
of a large market that you should probably be covering.
It is, but the PC gamers mock the console gamers who mock the iPad gamers. Everybody thinks they're the real gamers. The whole thing.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Let me talk about the game of getting insurance, car or home insurance.
Nice.
What, you like that? You like that segue?
Very good.
Actually, there's a story behind this. It's a true story. Lisa, about months ago, said, I said, what? She said, they just raised our house insurance $8,000. This is because we live in wildfire territory, I guess. I don't know. That was their excuse. So I said, no problem. I've got a computer. I can do this. We're going to shop. After about 3 sites, it's like, oh my God, because you're entering the same stuff over and over and over again. Then I saw that ad with Hano saying, Guy did Gabi insurance, so you don't have to do that. And it was like he was talking to me. So I heard it, and I think I probably saw it a couple of times. And I finally said, all right, I'm getting Gabi. GABI. It's an app you put on your phone. And what they do, and actually it's kind of cool, I think geeks will appreciate this. They basically, this is something nobody else does. They convinced insurance companies, and they've got 40 of the biggest insurance providers, Progressive, Nationwide, Travelers, Home and Auto. They convinced them to create a API. That's the last thing insurance companies ever wanted to do. They want you to go to their website and type things in. Gabi says it's about 1,100 characters on average that you have to type per site. They don't want you to shop. You give them the credentials for your existing insurance, so you don't even have to type that in once. They get all the data from your insurance company, and then they shop it to these 40 different companies. All you do is you link in your current insurance. In most cases, you'll receive quotes in a few minutes for the same coverage you have, and that's the whole point. They want to match that coverage. That's exactly what we did. If you want to move forward, by the way, no obligation at this point. You haven't agreed to anything. If you want to move forward with one of the quotes, the insurance company you selected will, of course, have to underwrite it, so they'll review all the details and confirm the final price. And on average, they save their customers an extra $961 a year in their pocket. That's how much Gabi customers save per year on average car and home insurance. Now, I put in the car insurance and I put in the home insurance, and it came back within a couple of minutes. This wasn't typing a lot of stuff. This was very quick, very simple. I just gave them the credentials to log in. I won't say the names of the insurance companies, but to log into our car insurance and our home, separate companies. They came back and said, you know what, you're getting the best deal you could get on a car insurance. We can't find anything better. That's a great deal. That actually made me feel pretty good. None of this is costing me anything at this point, by the way. They said, but we think we could save you a couple of $1,000s on that home insurance. Oh, okay. Then they said, okay, if you want to move forward with the quote, still I've paid nothing, I've committed to nothing. They say, okay, we're going to give your information to this insurance company. They haven't done that yet. And sometimes the insurance company, depends on how old-fashioned they are. Sometimes they'll call you. Sometimes it's automatic. Sometimes a Gabi agent will call you. But they have to review the details, do the real underwriting, and then confirm the price. You still have paid nothing. You still have committed to nothing. Sometimes there'll be an adjustment there. It was originally a little more, went down a little bit when they realized where we lived. We saved almost $2,000. We got the insurance policy the other day. It's done. And it cost us nothing. It was an incredible thing. I just wanted to tell you about it. It's a great way, and it's so simple and so easy. You could do it while you're watching the Gabi ad on TV. Save on home and auto insurance today, up to, on average, $961. We saved more. It was an amazing experience. It's fast. It's easy. And by the way, don't worry. They never sell your info. I'm always so nervous when I sign up for these things. I use a real phone number, but not my real phone number. You know what I mean? I use a dummy number and a dummy email address. Since we did this, no spam, nothing. I always check, nothing. They don't sell your info, no robocalls, no spam. It's all very private. But boy, it really works. Gabi, I want you to try it. You may be overpaying. You probably are on your car and home insurance. Most people are because it's too much of a pain to shop it. Let Gabi do the work. Using their technology. See how much Gabi can save you. It's free to check. Again, no obligation, no commitment. You don't have to push that button until the very end. Go to Gabi.com/twit. Go to Gabi.com/twit. GABI.com/twit. Gabi, thank you. You saved us big. Really appreciate it. Oh, these are creepy, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not. Have you seen this MyHeritage?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is this creepy?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So,
Like a deep fake of your grandma?
Grandma's deep fake.
It's worse when you do it with someone you know. It's just, it just freaks you out. I did it with my grandmother. I've been told by my wife I'm not allowed to do it with any of her relatives.
Really?
Yeah.
So, if he's somebody you don't know, it doesn't look so weird because it's not.
I think you just don't have that connection. I don't know.
But if it's somebody you knew, it's like, I know. So there's examples with Abe Lincoln. Let me see if I can find that. They call it
you can do it with
nostalgia. Yeah.
You can do it with you can do it with. I did it with a Spock figure I have here. You can really just anything that's not moving. You can get a picture of it, pop it in.
All right. Let me. This is so weird. Let me pull this up and see if I can.
Yeah, the Lincoln one's so weird.
Abe Lincoln, as you've never seen him before. Is this it? Is he moving yet? Oh, here it is. It's a video. Okay, here, let me play it.
Oh, gee.
God. Let me play the audio too.
Yeah.
He's
and make fascinating discoveries about our family history.
Oh my God.
MyHeritage.com to embark.
Abe Lincoln's doing an ad for MyHeritage.
Oh, God.
That's just creepy. So is that a deep fake? What is it?
Yeah, I think that is right.
It's not really that
No, it's
sophisticated.
not really
not
deep
quite.
fake. It's more like an AI because it's taking the image and what it understands about normal human facial movements and basically combining them. It doesn't. I know that what's happening there is they're connecting it directly, I think, to somebody who might be talking or animated, but it's not entirely. Deepfakes is a little bit different.
Okay.
Have you guys seen the deepfake Tom thing going around TikTok?
Yes, I was about to talk about that.
That is terrifying. Oh
Wait
my
a
God.
minute. You mean MySpace
level.
Tom?
No, Tom Cruise.
No.
Search for
Tom Cruise.
deepfake Tom. Yeah, some viral videos going around of the craziest, like very good deepfakes I've seen.
All right, let me
it's on
see.
TikTok.
It's a
not-
TikTok, of course.
Yeah, deepfake
on
Tom
TikTok,
Cruise.
yeah.
Here it is. So this is not really Tom Cruise. Is that what you're telling me?
No,
It's not Tom
not.
Cruise.
What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports?
It does look like Tom Cruise, but he doesn't. The guy doesn't look like that.
No,
I don't know.
no.
Like we don't know.
he's got
Like
a
it's
little
some sort of
bit.
viral
For the
thing.
audio experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you guys ever watched Corridor Crew?
No.
Which is the momentum.
They're a YouTube channel. They do a lot of like special effects stuff, and they actually did something like
I'd be
this
pissed
years
if I
ago.
was Tom
Wow.
Cruise. I guess because he's a
Oh, yeah.
celebrity, you can't copyright his look.
I think his
Well,
likeness
that would
is
be the future,
copyrighted to a certain
maybe.
degree.
Things.
Can you?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that will be
I-
the future where there will be AI that can scan the web and see if your likeness is being used in other ways that's not approved.
So this is one way to become famous on TikTok. Deep fake Tom
And nobody.
Cruise.
It's kind of like we don't know what the deal is. Like it's some actor with a decent Tom Cruise impression.
He doesn't sound like Tom Cruise
We don't
that
know what it
much.
is.
What he's got,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little bit.
Yeah.
And they
But he's got
clearly
some of the movements.
have shot video of him and then modified the face to look more like because he has the Tom Cruise
it's
movements.
it's like a mapping. It's kind of like a mapping technology because they'll have like the Tom Cruise and all of Tom Cruise's different expressions. And that allows the actor to sort of do whatever they want. And the AI can say, I know what to do with the face, with the Tom Cruise face, to make it look like it's part of your face.
Yeah.
And it's really sophisticated. This is the best deep fake that I've seen for Tom Cruise that I've really seen. And I've seen a lot of different deep fake stuff.
I've seen a lot of deep fakes. This
That
one is
video really
totally
frightened me.
credible, right?
Yeah.
It's totally.
Yeah.
Show it again, John. It's totally credible. I mean, it's not. If I didn't know ahead of time, I would think that's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. When he turns sometimes, like if he does a full turn to
His
the
nose
profile,
is too
that's where
big.
it kind of falls.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a schnoz.
His
Even-
forehead wrinkles also disappear sometimes.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are little bits and pieces.
Wow, that's okay. All right, we don't apparently.
Take that, my heritage. Yeah.
I've been doing a deep fake this entire time. I'm not actually.
That's not you. It's actually he's Tom Cruise. Believe it or not.
That's
right.
a way to scale your likeness. It's like if you don't have enough time in the day, just get someone like
Deep
an
fakes.
intern to like do a deep fake of you on a show or on YouTube.
I honestly, I've made it. It sounds
Yeah?
like a joke, but I honestly believe there's more than 100,000 hours of video of me doing these shows. Which are completely saved and recorded. And I believe at some point, it's not going to be in the next 10 years, but at some point, I'm hoping it's before I die, there will be a synthetic Leo, and these shows can continue forever.
So yeah, here's the thing.
I
My
think
friend
that's
Taryn, who you
possible.
should totally
I think it's
have
totally
on your
possible.
show, she worked with this Israeli company who's doing these AIs, and she created an AI version of herself as a host. Because she does hosting in her own YouTube channel, Taryn Southern. Check it out. And so now she has an AI of herself that she could just use to host shows and interview people, and she doesn't
What?
need to do it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Are you kidding? Is it pretty good?
Yeah. Go to her youtube.com/Taryn Southern.
Okay.
You can check it out.
Okay. And then, here's her. Is this her? No, wait a minute. That's a song.
No, that was a music video she
Okay.
did.
Okay. Let's.
I'm like a bug on your screen.
Okay. Here's
All right, go to
Making
her
My
latest
Clone.
one.
Is this it? Oh, here it is. Here's her clone. Here's her
Yeah.
clone. Okay. So this is not real. This is a generated Taryn Southern.
I mean,
okay.
Let's
Hey
see.
guys, I can't believe it's
It's
been
not
nearly
perfect.
5 years
I
since
see.
I quit posting regular videos to YouTube.
I see the mouth. It's a
With
little
the permission
weird,
of
right?
The real Taryn Southern, AI Taryn, can speak different languages,
Hast du schon einmal von synthetischen Charakteren gehört?
Oh boy.
inhabit different faces,
This is weird.
genders, AI Terran can sing.
So if we could do this now, I'm telling you, there's enough video of me. It won't require my cooperation.
There's enough video and photos.
Shira,
of
I
all
want
of
you to
us.
keep an eye on Lisa. And if all of a sudden she's got a new man, but the shows keep going, I'm suspicious.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't
That's
know.
great.
I could happen. I think we're getting close. It's just it's a matter of maybe a year or two or maybe 5 before you really will see something. And that Tom Cruise, you will see something and you won't know if that's real or not, right?
Yeah.
What does that do?
Deep fake porn, which is super
Yeah, that's
immoral
scary.
and unethical.
Nobody's doing that with me. I'm sorry.
Look at these movies where they're bringing back stars, dead stars. You know, I mean, still, none of them are great yet.
Well, the Star Wars stuff was terrible. I mean, they had to put
do better.
Put them in dark with thing. They had little clips. It wasn't great, but I think we're making rapid progress.
It's getting better, and I don't know. I feel like have you guys seen the movie called The Congress, which is something I reference quite a bit, directed by Ari Folman, but it's a movie starring Robin Wright about a world where actors can digitize themselves, choose to capture their likeness and sell that off to a studio, and then they can't act personally anymore, but their likeness can go on
because they've licensed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we can get there.
You
just
told me
looking
about
at
this.
Yeah.
I did start watching this. This is with Robin Wright.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
I did start watching
more and more
this.
prescient every day.
The Congress.
Oh, the Congress.
Yeah, because she licensed herself, right? That was the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that. That's a way to scale yourself and then have a life.
And retire. Yeah. But then you can't create anymore. Then you can't. Yeah, it's illegal for you to perform yourself.
Right.
Because your self is
She
somewhere
can't
else.
compete with. She's already sold the rights off. But that happens if you're in the music industry. You sell off your catalog. You don't own your music anymore. That's not. It's completely credible. Completely credible. Bad news if you're crossing the border. When you go home to Montreal, Shira, it's. I mean, I always thought the Mounties were tough going into Canada, but now, according to a new court ruling, when you come back in the United States, border agents can search your phone with absolutely no limit without probable cause.
Oh, wow.
U.S. Appeals Court. This was actually overturned. I mean, this was actually prevented, and Judge Sandra Lynch has overturned an earlier ruling that Customs and Border Protection agents can conduct in-depth searches of phones and laptops. That's both basic and, quote, advanced searches, which include reviewing and copying data from your device without a warrant. It's fully constitutional, according to this judge. I don't know if this will be
is
appealed.
that judge at?
Wow.
No kidding. Well,
Is that the Canadian government or the U.S. government?
U.S. government. It's always been bad going into Canada. The Mounties are tough. But at least, well, are you a citizen now of the U.S.?
No. No, I'm still a citizen of Canada.
So it's a little easier for you. Or I don't know.
I haven't seen my family in a year and a half because of everything.
Yeah, I know. That must be awful. Crazy. Yeah. The ruling that overturned this said you have to have reasonable suspicion. Lynch disagreed. And this is the quote that really pissed me off. The judge said electronic device searches do not fit neatly into other categories of property searches. But the bottom line is basic border searches of electronic devices do not involve an intrusive search of a person.
That's ridiculous.
It's an invasion of privacy. You should have a lawyer. That's something.
Everything's on your phone.
Yeah.
Everything's on your phone.
I mean, it's like them. And it's basically like being able to enter your house and rummage through every single thing in every closet, every drawer.
No probable cause. I don't like how you look, Lance.
Yeah.
And maybe you
Most
got
people
something.
don't.
Yeah. I want to see what's on your phone, buddy. Hand it over.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I don't think that's going to hold up. If that keeps making its way through the courts, that's going to get appealed and go all the way to the Supreme Court. It's not going to hold up.
We shall see. The judge said, Congress should establish clearer rules. Congress could say there is more protection. But she says the Constitution does not. ACLU said warrantless and suspicionless electronic device searches can give border officers unfettered access to vast amounts of private information about our lives. We're disappointed with the ruling. and evaluating all options to ensure we don't lose our privacy rights when we travel. So that sounds like the ACLU might want to pursue this. It was an EFF and an ACLU lawsuit. So yeah, you know what? They're going to appeal it. They got to appeal it. Not that I have any confidence the Supreme Court will understand how smartphones work any better than anybody else. So there is some good news. I'll give you some of the good news. You saw it on the promo. The president has ordered a broad supply chain review to address chip shortages. The aim is eventually to increase domestic production of these chips, which I think everybody would support, right? I don't know if there's anything you can do in the short term. But
I mean, it's hard to build these factories.
They take
these
years,
fabs.
and they're billions and billions of dollars.
It takes years. It takes training, of the workforce. It also, how are we competitive? Foxconn and these companies that have employees that they pay so little. I mean, that's the thing that really. We have to be competitive to do this, so they got to figure that out. But
I think probably that's the point of this. Is look, this isn't going to happen overnight, but it's clear now because of this shortage. This is a problem. Ford had to cut production of the F-150 pickup. General Motors has shut down some North American plants into next month because the car makers can't get the chips. So maybe you can't fix it today, but you got to start sometime. Now's the time. Incent companies to build fabs in the United States. The Intel is about ready, I suspect, to close down its fabs in Oregon, and start outsourcing fabs. We got to do something about that. California can finally enforce its net neutrality law. You remember when the FCC overturned net neutrality? That was a couple of years ago. The state of California in 2017 passed a law to restore net neutrality. The Department of Justice under Trump sued. The telecom industry sued. But the DOJ under Biden has dropped that suit, and the Judge John Mendez declined to grant the telecom industry a preliminary injunction. So the law can go into effect now. There'll still be a trial. It's not over. But at least for now, net neutrality survives in the great state of California. Current temporary interim chair of the FCC, Jessica Rosenworcel, tweeted, "When the FCC, over my objection, rolled back net neutrality policies, states like California sought to fill the void with their own laws. Tonight, a court in California decided the state law can go into effect." This is big news for open internet. What the big news is that the chairman of the FCC is supporting it is fantastic.
Right.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then I want to talk about non-fungible tokens with our brilliant team of panelists. Lance Ulanoff, great to have you, LanceUlanoff.com, ULANOFF. He's also Lance Ulanoff on the Twitter. And I'm sure if anything exciting is coming up, you will tweet about it. You will let us know via the Twitter. Shira Lazar, peaceinside.live. If you ever get a chance to have a yogasmic experience with Shira, I strongly encourage it. Actually, that was really fun. It was a Valentine's Day yoga, Zoom yoga class. I'd never done a Zoom yoga class. It worked pretty well. Peaceinside.live. And
Yeah,
you're going to do
glad
some
you
more.
liked it.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was really, really wonderful. And there's little windows, and I could have gone big on the instructor, but Lisa and I wanted to see the other couples, and everybody was so cute, and everybody was so in love. It was really a sweet.
Good to know you were watching all of us.
Yeah, we were watching. Were you not watching? Did you just go full on the instructor?
No, we just kind of got lost. Yeah, we put her full frame on my laptop.
Yeah, that was smart.
And then we were just doing our own thing.
Yeah, I could tell. It was fun to watch. No, I'm just kidding. There was one woman
I don't care.
who said,
I'm no shame. Hey, YOLO.
There was one woman who came in there and said, "You're recording this? I'm out of here." She left.
Oh, yeah, we ended up stopping to record because, they were recording for themselves for their own internals.
Not me. They weren't recording you or me. They were or anybody. They were just recording themselves, their own image, which was fine with me. I don't care. Anyway, it was really fun. Peace Inside Live. That's not the only thing they do. They have lots of helpful
virtual wellness
in this tough time for all of us. so glad you created that among all the other wonderful things you do. And of course, from Engadget senior editor Devendra Hardawar. Don't forget he's got that great film podcast /film. Highly recommended. /filmcast.
Yeah.
What is the latest? Anything interesting going on? What are you talking about?
Good question.
You don't know?
Well, we just reviewed Nomadland, which is up.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Oh my God, I saw that.
Fantastic
What did
film.
you think?
Oh my God, I love that. What did you think, Shira? Did you not like it?
I know I liked it. I found it really relevant and fascinating. I'll be honest, we fell asleep at the end, the last 10 minutes.
You didn't miss anything.
I can't stay up for a whole movie these days.
No spoilers.
But I was impressed. Frances McDormand is amazing, and it really
she's wonderful.
Touches on the state of where we're at here.
Well, in fact, I was almost referenced it earlier when we were talking about how people were working so hard to make ends meet. The movie was based on an article in Harper's Magazine many years ago, I think 2011, about how many retirees had so little retirement funds and Social Security was so low, they had to keep working. The never-ending retirement. And that was the basis for a book, which then became the film with Frances McDormand. But, you know, it's a funny film because you can't really say there's a plot. But it's so moving and beautiful, and it's really about people. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's kind of, they call it like a tone poem or something, but it is really about how America is broken and capitalism is destroying us all, and that's it. That's the movie, and everybody should see it.
Wow! Now that I know that, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
no, I loved it.
You know,
I loved it. That's the latest, episode 607, the /filmcast. Highly recommend it. Our show today brought to you by Ryan Reynolds. Mint Mobile is, it's my favorite. It's called an MVNO, Mobile Virtual Network Operator. So you know the big guys, T-Mobile and Sprint, I guess, together, Verizon, AT&T, Devendra's boss. Those guys, they float along, charging you $80, $90, $100 a month for data, plus phone calls, plus text. Along comes this little guy, Mint Mobile, no stores. Ryan Reynolds probably plunging a lot of his fortune into that. They offer premium wireless, not $80, $90 a month, $15 a month. $15, and that's unlimited talk, unlimited text, and high-speed data. And it's on the nation's largest 5G network. It's T-Mobile. So if you've got good T-Mobile service, you're going to get the same service for a fraction of the price. It's just amazing. I loved it so much. I did the $15 deal, and they said, I want the unlimited deal, $30 a month. That's amazing. For $300, I paid a year ahead of time, which is $25 a month. I got 12 gigabytes. That's effectively unlimited for me. And always unlimited talk and text on a great 5G network. You can bring your own phone. They'll send you the SIM. There's no charge for the SIM. Port your number over, and it's, painless. They actually sell phones. I got an iPhone SE, very inexpensive. It was $15 a month, plus the $15 a month. For $30 a month, you get a phone and coverage. It's incredible. Mint Mobile, switch now, and you'll get premium wireless service. And, of course, if you get it and it doesn't work or whatever, in your neighborhood, you're always covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. To get your new wireless plan, just $15 a month, and get the plan shipped to your door free, mintmobile.com/twit. mintmobile.com/twit. Cut your wireless bill to as low as $15 a month. mintmobile.com/twit. You're gonna love Mint Mobile. Great service at a great price. I don't know why anybody would pay more. Plus, Ryan Reynolds. I love this story. Mississippi, Gulfport and Biloxi. You don't hear a lot of great stories about the internet in this country. When the COVID relief package came out in March, the state of Mississippi decided to dedicate about $150 million of it to improving broadband, especially in poorly served rural areas of Mississippi like Gulfport and Biloxi. And but they said there's a catch. You can get the money, you have to match it to these internet service providers, and you have to roll it out by the end of 2020. They did. People are going from 10 megabits to 300 megabits. It's just a great story, and it shows what you can do. I I really believe municipal Wi-Fi and government-run Wi-Fi is probably the best way to go, but the telecoms hate that. So maybe this is the next best thing. Good going, Mississippi. Well done. FCC has approved a $50 high-speed internet subsidy. So if you have a low-income household, and as you know, this is a big problem during the pandemic because the kids need to Zoom. You need to Zoom if you've got a job. So the Federal Communications Commission, thank you, Jessica Rosenworcel, approved a $50 a month to low-income households, up to $75 a month to Native American households for broadband service. So a couple of good stories about the internet.
Starting to see the internet as a human right.
It is.
Yep.
For crying out loud. And now you can go to NBA Top Stars and buy some non-fungible tokens, or maybe some crypto kitties.
Going from a good news story to a bad one.
This is what you're going to do with all your bandwidth. You guys have to explain this to me. I see a lot of groups on Clubhouse talking about NFTs.
Yes. Yeah. Non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible tokens. What is that, Lance?
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, this is the idea of a identifying. So I've heard it talked about in the area of art. Like you can identify, like you connect the token to a piece of art, and then it's basically it can't be counterfeited. You have a clear idea of ownership
because blockchain, the magic of blockchain.
Right, but that's it. And this is not, I've seen this with collectibles. Do you know who one of the people who got in on this early? William Shatner with Materium.
What is Materium?
Materium is another sort of cryptocurrency, and the way in which when he has all of this stuff that he sells, his like paraphernalia from his massive career.
But it's real tangible goods, right? You're getting a vial
of tangible goods, but the key is how do you verify the authenticity of these goods?
Problem.
That's why
it's a big problem in autographs and baseball and sport memorabilia. Is you don't know, is that really Mookie Wilson's signature? I don't know.
Yep. How many times do you look on, well, you're not on Twitter as much, but if you're on Twitter, you'll see people asking, for example, Mark Hamill, is this autograph thing that I got, is this real? And 9 times out of 10, he's like, nope, I never signed that thing.
He knows, of course.
Wow.
Get Mark to authenticate it. That's a good idea. Unless he probably signed a lot of them, all the time. He might not know everything he signed.
True.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's usually connected to some, like, item.
That's I didn't sign that poster. I wasn't even in that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember when my kid was little, we went to spring training. I love spring training. Used to love it. I guess it's a big thing now. But in the old days, it was quiet. It was calm. It was down in Arizona, Scottsdale, watched the Giants. And Barry Bonds was the Giants star. And it was so much fun. Henry was about 8 or 9. Ran down. I got a baseball. Ran down. Got it autographed. Ran down. Got it autographed. And we get on the plane. He says, look at this. And it was signed 3 times by, it looked like Barry Bonds. Is B. I thought, he said, I just kept going back to him and he kept signing it. I said, that's awesome. And I'm showing it around to other people on the plane. And the guy looks at it and says, that's not Barry Bonds, that's Boof Bonser. Who, by the way, never did get called up. But we have a baseball, anybody wants it, with 3 Boof Bonser autographs.
Oh my God.
Look just like Barry Bonds. Boof, you got to change. You got to do something. You got to put a Zur in there or something. So that's the problem, authentication.
Yeah.
But NFTs is not even material goods.
It's mind-blowing. It is like a Nyan cat, right? The rainbow cat sold for $580,000.
But you don't get
the real Nyan cat. You don't own it. You own the real one.
But you can't hang it on your wall. It's a digital good.
Yeah.
So the number one of these is selling NBA highlights. NBA Top Shot. I said it wrong. Top Shot. $217 million in sales in the last 30 days.
Can you then license that thing then? So if you own it,
I don't know.
If anyone ever wants to play that or view it in some way.
I don't think so. Yeah. No, there's no revenue opportunity. You just own it.
Well, that just seems stupid. Sorry.
Well, you're wrong to the tune of $270 million in 1 month.
Wow.
It's like, let's create the artificial scarcity of the diamond industry, but at scale, digitally. Let's just make it happen, folks.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess if you own an NBA somebody's got to explain this to me. If you own an NBA highlight, you are the only owner of that highlight? What does that even mean? I don't know what that means.
It just doesn't make sense.
Or can a bunch of people own it? So you each, like a bunch of people have ownership of it.
No. Well, I guess you could make a syndicate. But it's so this highlight on the front page got sold for $779.
You own the moment.
You own the moment. But, the only reason this is worth anything is because you think someday somebody's going to give you $799 for it, right?
Yeah. You're banking on the future.
For something you can't hold.
For something you can't hold. That's the whole, the idea with CryptoKitties was you bought these cartoon cats, and some of them are rarer than others. They would breed, so you could create new cats. I don't think you can create new NBA highlights.
No.
It's, what a world. What a world.
Well, if we live in virtual worlds, wouldn't those things that we own in those spaces be brought into that space?
Oh,
like as part of our virtual ownership?
So are we
it is a logical outcome of everything. Yeah.
Are we recreating Second Life? I mean, what are we doing?
I don't know.
What's happening here?
What are we doing? That is the motto of the 21st century. What the hell are we doing? I'm sorry to say, a real tangible good, fries, which probably a lot of our listeners are not familiar with fries, but in California, in Texas, in Georgia, Fry's was the electronics store. Devindra, did you ever go to a Fry's? Do you know what Fry's is?
I've never went to Fry's. I didn't know there was a Fry's in Georgia until this thing happened. But I grew up in New England always wanting to go to Fry's.
So you knew about it. It was legend.
I knew about it. Yeah.
So Fry's
because
is
of
joining...
you California nerds, that's why.
Joining Circuit City, joining Radio Shack in the great tech store in the sky after 36 years in business. It was really the Silicon Valley Fry's in Sunnyvale. I spent a lot of time haunting those aisles, as did probably every geek in Silicon Valley. I mean, it was just really a fun place to visit. But, between the pandemic and Newegg and Amazon, there's really not a lot of room for a brick and mortar.
They hadn't been doing
store.
Good for a while, right? Like people would post photos of just almost empty stores for years.
Yeah, they hung on as long as they could. And I think the pandemic was the last nail in the coffin. But honestly, it was. How can you, you're not going to make money selling computer parts and hard drives in a giant. These were former grocery stores. They were giant. They're huge. Nobody.
Micro Center is still around. Like I have a Micro Center 10 minutes from me, and it's doing really well. So.
Is it doing well?
I don't know.
We have one in our area too. Yeah, I haven't been there in ages.
Wow,
it's very strange.
That's cool. Well,
another physical thing that died this week, Leo. Did you see Cinefx magazine?
I heard that.
Amazing magazine, gone.
172 issues. Was it for the film buff or the fan?
It was for the public. Like it was for both, I think. And it was one of those trade journals that was sold on newsstands, right? When I used to go to Borders or Barnes & Noble and sit in the cafe, it would be right there next to Entertainment Weekly, and you could pick it up. It's a huge thing with huge interviews, and it was so unique and so sad to see it go.
These magazines have a tough time surviving. Do you remember Premiere Mag?
Oh yeah, I love Premiere. Yeah. This is beautiful, though. Look at how beautifully produced it is. Obviously, that's part of the problem. Is, it was a $15 magazine,
produced bi-monthly, so not even like.
But if you're a film buff, holy cow!
So sad.
Well, we always do the obituaries at the end of the show. The good news is nobody died that I know of, anyway. No geeks, no big tech people died, but there were a few businesses that said so long. Now we have to say so long to you, our esteemed panel. Always so much fun. Devindra Hardawar, thank you so much. How's the baby? Sleeping?
She is doing well. She woke up at 6 a.m. this morning and didn't nap. So my wife has had to fight her to sleep this while I'm on the show. So I hope she succeeded,
Well,
I don't know.
It's not the middle of the night or anything. It's only 8 o'clock, right?
It's only 8:00, but she should have been sleeping. So having kids is great, but oh man, does it take all your energy, especially during a pandemic?
I bet it does. At least she's not in school. You know, I really feel for his people with kids in kindergarten through 8th grade. It's just tough. Yeah. Our son, who's a senior in high school, but he's been doing online schooling for a couple of years, so he's pretty comfortable with it. They just said Petaluma Schools April 13th. And he says, I don't want to go.
Right?
I'm happy.
We've been complaining, and now we have to go back.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I said, but Michael, you can walk. You're going to have a graduation. You can order. They're actually saying, time to order your cap and gown. That's, to me, such a relief. Because I thought he wasn't going to get to walk. So he says, nah, I don't care. Kids today, I tell you. Speaking of kids, Shira Lazar.
Oh, yeah, I'm a child at heart.
A useful person. It's so lovely to have you on. Always is. I hope you do another yogasmic experience next.
I will. Yeah, you keep mentioning it.
I do. Well, it was good. It was good.
Refer some people. We'll get a good group together. Yes, we'll do it again.
And you know what? We should give you a plug on Twitch so you can get, thousands of people in there. Fun.
If they could join you in a yogasmic experience, maybe they'd be intrigued. Definitely. We'll have to do it when I have an event coming up or retreat. We'll jump on here.
I promise not to wear yoga pants. How about that? That'll help.
Whatever works.
Peace Inside Live. What else you want to plug? You're still doing What's Trending. I love that.
Yeah, whatstrending.com, youtube.com/what's trending for all your latest social media trend, digital culture news, viral videos, so on and so forth. And then I have a radio show on Channel Q. We are channelq.com.
You do that every day.
Afternoon drive. Yeah, weekdays. So we catch you up on current events, pop culture, social issues.
Do you have a traffic reporter like in the eye in the sky? Oh, we're looking over the 405 right now. I could be the fake traffic reporter.
We're across the country.
So you're national. Oh, all right. Yeah. Somebody in the chat room saying, again with the yoga pants. What is it with yoga pants? I'm sorry I said anything. I apologize. It's worse than profanity. Thank you, Shira. It's great to have you. And, of course, Lance, the lovely and talented Lance Ulanoff. I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you again. I'm glad things are going well. I'm still glad your Tamagotchi is still alive. Lance, More or less. How did you get a Pokemon in there? I want to find out more.
It's what we got them for the kids.
But the kids,
by the way, I was going to say to Devindra, as a parent of adult children now, whatever their sleeping habits are when they're babies, get used to it. That's their sleeping habits for life.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's going to reverse when they're teenagers or something.
No. There's everything. I mean, more broadly, the personality that you're looking at right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's the bizarrest thing ever because you think you have some influence on your kids. But they come out fully baked. They are the way. And it's so funny to watch the continuity. I agree with you because my kids are grown too. The continuity is fascinating. Well, Jennifer and I will talk about our daughter and we'll go, remember when she did that? She's still doing that.
That's so interesting. Does it put things into perspective with yourself? Like how maybe you just have always had those behaviors?
Well, the best thing about kids is talk about self-perspective. They tell you the truth. You immediately know what a jerk you are.
I'm scared.
Oh, they throw it right back at you. Boom. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep.
Boom. I never got better, but I remember when I first got a BlackBerry, how upset they get off your BlackBerry, Dad. Get off it. They're like 8 or 9. Get off the BlackBerry. No, but I gotta get off it. They were so mean, and now, of course, it all comes around. I'm at dinner with them. I say, "Get off the Instagram. Stop Snapchatting. What are you doing?" It's like a Harry Chapin song. It all comes rushing back. How old are your kids, Lance?
26 and 22.
Mine are 26 and 28, almost 29. Should be 29 in a month. And
they're adults.
Shira knows Abby. We had
yes. Oh my God, from way back. Yeah.
Way back, from the good old days.
Oh.
The good old days.
I had hair when I first had kids.
Wow. Did they?
It's a Homer Simpson thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You tear it out because of the kids, right?
You tear it out.
I don't know. Who knows what happened?
We do Twit every Sunday afternoon after the radio show, about 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern Time, 22:30 UTC. I mentioned the time we do it because, in fact, I would suggest tuning in earlier because we start the stream. We just don't stop it. I guess we continue it, and so you can watch live as we're doing it. See the stuff before, see the stuff after. It's all on the website, twit.tv/live. There's audio and video. If you're watching live or listening live, chat live. We have a great chat room. It runs 24/7, but it's most active when we're doing live shows. Some great people in there, a lot of fun. irc.twit.tv. That's our little chat community. We also have a forum for people who aren't watching live. Great place to go, twit.community. And you can sign up there. There's no charge, obviously. And the only thing I have to approve every sign on just to make sure we don't get spammers. We've been having spam problems lately. So, I will approve you. But I'll do that within the 24 hours because I want you to be in there. We also have a Twitter clone called Mastodon, our own Mastodon instance at twit.social. I don't do Twitter anymore. I just do Mastodon. It's so fun. It's so great. I love it. Again, you have to say why you want to join. Just mention, Leo sent me or something like that. You'd be amazed. I'm approving these people. So many people come in to say things like, because I'd like to market my Viagra business. Or it's like, okay, no. There are people, spammers, sometimes they go, I want to sell stuff. And then, or they say, I want to meet people, and their handle is, buyusedrealestate.com. And it's like, well, I think I know what you're here for. Yeah, used real estate. Never buy new. Always buy used real estate. That's my tip to you. Something you can take away after this long show. Where was I? On-demand versions of the show available at the website for everything we do, twit.tv. Of course, there's a YouTube channel. You can watch there if you want. You can subscribe there. As the kids say, mash the bell and hit the button or whatever that is.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Subscribe. Smash that like button. Okay, guys? Actually, the more civilized way to subscribe is to get a podcast application. There are many. And subscribe there, and you'll get either the audio or the video the minute it's available of a Sunday evening. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Another Twit is in the can. Bye-bye.